Welcome back, guys, to the Bear and Scully podcast with me, Sean Scullion, aka Scully, Owen Mallon, aka the Bear, Aidan, the face for radio behind the scenes, and today we are joined with Peter Mitchell. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, lads.
He nailed it. Peter, thanks very much for coming down, and we're looking forward now at this conversation. We're going to talk a lot about football now. I'm not much of a football man now, so if it's not an oval ball, I wouldn't know much about it. But Peter, football is your life, so we're going to get into it and how you got into it, and we're going to hear more of your story today. But before we get into that, Peter, we always like to hear where people grew up and how your passion for football started.
Yeah, I'm originally from Limavady, so it's obviously a wee small town. But from no age, I knew I wanted to be a footballer. My dad played a bit of football. My granddad was youth international. So my granddad played for Derry City, played for Linfield. My granddad actually had an opportunity to go to England as well. He had an opportunity at 18 to go to Blackburn Rovers. But he was being raised by his grandparents in Derry. And as far as the story goes, I don't think the grandparents wanted him to go to England. Now, obviously, it's different times back then. I don't know the reason behind it, but they didn't want him to go, so he sort of lost out on that opportunity. And I grew up listening to my granddad's stories, and my granddad and his stories. I remember him very vividly. He was a right back. He was a hard-hitting right back, and he just loved football. And it's no coincidence that's where I ended up playing. I was a right back myself. I wanted to be my granddad. My granddad, they say you don't meet your heroes. Well, as a kid, my granddad was my hero. Just hearing his stories and him getting the train up to play for Linfield and playing at home for Derry City. And back then, there's not many boys would have played for Derry City and Linfield. So he was a brave man as well, I would say. My first experience was my dad took me to Newton Youths. I just started in Limavady. And I actually remember this. The first training session was at the Limavady United Showgrounds. And it was under 11s. So this was the team just starting off. But I was only 6. And my dad took me down. And I can remember going in, and my best friend there, wee Gary Moore, his dad was running the team. And wee Gary saying, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, I'm playing football with the boys. They let me train that night and sent me home. You're too young. So the few years passed. I was out in the street playing with as you do. That's what you done back then. You're out in the street playing football. A few years passed. Back down Newton Youths under 11s. So I'm in the primary school team for Term Canis, and I'm playing for Newton Youths. And it took off straight away. Like I said, we're a small town, but our primary school team, we won the Northern Ireland Schools Cup. We won the Northern Ireland Schools Cup, so you're the best team in the country. And like I said, Limavady, there's 4 classrooms in our year. So I think there was maybe 20 kids in each class. So you split that up, there's probably 40 boys. 40 boys in that whole year, and we're the best football team in the country. And it just took off from there. Under 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, we're playing in the Derry and District League. And we're going up to Derry, and none of the Derry boys like us. They're thinking these wee culchies from Limavady coming up here, and we're taking the piss. There's 2 cups and there's a league, and under 11s we won the treble, 12s we won the treble, 13s we won the treble, and it wasn't until under 14s we finally lost the game. But by come under 14s, a few of us are starting to get recognition in England. A few scouts are starting to look at us. I leave Limavady Youths. I signed for Institute. Paul Key and Bugsy's taking Institute back then. They're starting a wee bit of academy, and a few of us Limavady boys go up to Stute to play. And I remember my dad getting the phone call. And the conversation went, we want Peter to go to Stute to play under 14s. And I says to my dad, right, because back then I was sort of playing everywhere. I was a centre half, I was in midfield, because I was very fast, I was very fit, and I loved to tackle. That was my game. I wasn't a footballer. I wasn't this nice technical gifted footballer. I was a wee hard hitting footballer. And I remember saying to my dad, I'd love to go, but I want to play right back. If they can promise me I'll play right back, I'll go and I'll play, because I was playing everywhere. I just wanted to nail down that right back position. And the under 14 manager was Elmer Woods. He was the lead scout, and that was one of the main reasons too. My dad says, "Look, the lead scout's the manager, so there's a chance." And I was like, "Right, let's go to Stute." And I remember that year playing. It was amazing. I was obviously, there were proper coaches. And what I mean by proper coaches, when you're growing up, it's your dad, it's your mate's dads, it's your dad. Do you know what I mean? You're running, and I loved the run, I loved all that dirty side. But this year was like, okay, we're getting the ball down, we're trying to play a bit of football here. It was my first time really getting properly coached. And that year, like I says, there was myself. I went to Leeds. Big Mark McChrystal went to Wolves. Rory Higgins signed for Coventry. There was boys above us and below us going across as well. So, I mean, every weekend we couldn't get our strongest team out in the football pitch because there was always lads going to England on trial. That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. And my first experience of England, it was Sammy Morrow. Sammy's dad, Derek, was a Wolves scout. And I went to Wolves first. I went to Wolves on trial. I remember I went over and they played, it was my first time they played like in a wing back system. So it was 3 centre halves. I know you're not a football man, so apologies, but it was my first time playing this different formation. So it was 3 centre halves, 2 wing backs. So for the first time ever, I had the right hand side all to myself. Normally there'd be someone in front of me. So I'm going over to England and I'm playing and I'm by myself. But I was like, wow, this is, because I could just go boom, boom, boom. I was loving it. And I went over the first week, the second week, the third week. It was I think it was like it must have been a midterm break or something. I went over for a few days, and they were talking about, we'll get you back over again. We'd like to sit you down, maybe put a contract in front of you. So I went back then a few weeks later with my dad, with my mum, my brother, and the guy comes down, Chris Evans, sits down. He says, right, we'd like to sign Peter, but we can't do it now. But what we're going to do is we'll keep bringing him over, and we'll get the paperwork done. So I left. I'm going over to Wolves every week. They're spoiling me. They're giving me training gear. Leaving school early on a Friday, getting the flight over at 14 years of age, lads. It was just unbelievable. And then Leeds came in for me. And I remember I went over to Leeds. My first game for Leeds was at the Leeds United training ground against Man City. And we hammered them. I think it was 5-0. I remember coming off the pitch and I was like, there's just something about this place. The academy, even the team I was playing in, they were fucking good. Like, they were good players. I remember coming off the pitch thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. And I came off the pitch. Alan Hill was the academy director, put the arm around me. Well, son, did you enjoy it? I'm like, wow, yeah, loved it. He was right. We're playing Man United next week. Come back over and we'll get you over again. So came back home on a Sunday, went to school, St. Mary's Limavady, leave school early on a Friday, get the flight over to Leeds, train the Saturday morning, playing the Sunday. So we went to Carrington, Man United's training ground, 14 years of age, 15, I'm 15 now. And we hammered Man United 3-0. I remember playing the match and people talking, oh, it's Darren Ferguson, that's Darren Ferguson. Darren Ferguson was on the wee buggy, just driving around. He was my age, but he was too good. Obviously, he went on to have an unbelievable career for Man United, for Scotland. Darren Fletcher. Yeah, young Fletcher came through Man United. I come off the pitch against Man United and Alan Hill's there again. And he says, right, did you enjoy it? And I'm like, oh my God, honestly, this is me. I want to be a footballer so bad. And he says, right, we're playing Newcastle next week. Come over, we'll bring over your parents and we'll get you signed. So I'll come over the following week, literally 1 week, 2 weeks, the third week I'm going back over and they've put the 4-year contract in front of me. 4-year contract.
4-year contract for a 15-year-old?
Yeah. 1 year scholar, 3-year pro. And I'm just, I was convinced. This is me now. I'm going to be a footballer. So this was maybe on say October, November, maybe around this time of the year in 1999. So I'm in 5th year in school. I'm doing GCSEs. And I agreed to sign this 4-year deal. So I'm now back home and I'm training for Institute. I'm training for Newton Youths and I'm going to Leeds every weekend. I'm leaving school early every Friday and going over to Leeds every weekend, playing football every weekend for Leeds United. And I'm like, oh my God, what kid? I'm living the dream. I am living the dream. This is amazing. So my education just went down the pan. I wasn't interested in school. I remember having this conversation with my business studies teacher, and we were sitting one day, and I didn't do the homework or the work, and he came down, and teachers can have a wee bit of a chip on their shoulders, and he says, right, you can't do anything in life without your GNVQ, and I was like, excuse me? He goes, you'll never achieve anything in life without your GNVQ. You need to work hard at school. You need your GNVQ business studies to achieve anything in life. And I gave it to him. I said, well, I've just signed for Leeds United. I want to be a footballer. And I was only a kid. It wasn't me being arrogant. It was just me saying, you can't tell me I can't achieve anything in life. I've worked hard my whole life at football. And now I'm getting a chance in England. I'm going to go and I'm going to be a footballer and I'll fucking show you. So he was like, okay, well, right. Oh, is this done? I was like, yeah, I've signed the contract. He was like, basically, he says, right, you stay out of my way and I'll stay out of your way. Saying that to a 15-year-old kid. I'm like, well, that's okay, fine. So it was just all football. I used to get home after school. Peter, do your homework. Oh, I'm out in the street, way with the ball, kicking the ball. It was just football was my life. I remember from like I says, growing up listening to my granddad from 6, 7 years of age, I just wanted to be a footballer. This was it. I was obsessed. I was absolutely obsessed. And then when I got that chance in Leeds, it didn't change. I know back then it was under 17s, under 19s, reserve team, first team. And I moved over after my GCSEs. I moved over, and this is me going away full time now. And the way the academy was, you lived in the academy. So the first years, which I would have been my first year over there, first years lived on the ground floor. There was a 2-story building. And the second years moved up. They were in the top floor. And then your third year, you moved out. You went into digs. So we're in the academy. You're literally waking up. The pitches are there. The pitches are literally a minute walk. Your canteen is just behind you. You get up in the morning, you go get your breakfast. You go back to your room, you tidy up your room, and your breakfast is 8 o'clock to 8:30. Training's 10:15 to 12. You train 10:15 to 12. You get your lunch 12 to 12:30. You're back training again at 1:30. 1:30 to 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that's you done for the day. And this was my life, and I was convinced I'm going to be a footballer. And Leeds then, the training ground, it was all us. It was everyone was in the same place. So you're with the first team every day. You're having lunch with the first team. You're having dinner with England internationals, French internationals. You're seeing these boys come in. You're seeing how they live. And they're just the same as you. They started off in the same, you're watching these men on TV and you're thinking, oh my God, these are your heroes. And then you go over there. And honestly, my mentality from no age, I remember my dad taking a training session and it was just a run. He made us run. That's what it was back then. You run. You need to be hard, you need to be fast, you need to be fit, run. And I remember I had to be at the front of the line. And the boys behind me were making this noise. He's licking up to his daddy. You wee lick. But it wasn't about me licking up to my dad. It was about me being faster than them. It was about me being better than them. And from a young age, I had that fire in my belly that I just knew I wanted to be football, and I worked at it. I just had that drive, that passion for the sport, and I worked my fucking balls off. Honestly, I got the Leeds. It wasn't through talent. It was just sheer hard work. It was sheer hard work, so it was. And my first year over there, I'm flying, I'm playing every week. And I actually get a game for the 19s. I'm 16 years of age. I remember going away to Derby playing for the under 19s. And my dad had family over there, so a few of his cousins came to watch us. We played in the Derby. I think it was the baseball ground, their old pitch. So that's where the academy played. They played at the old stadium. And I remember playing right back under 19s, and we were 16 years of age. And it was one of the best games I ever played. I was like, fuck, this is me now. I'm going to stay in this team, or I'm going to kick on out of reserves. And it didn't happen. I didn't kick on the way I probably should have. They didn't push me. There was a youth cup game coming up the following week, so they rested a few of the boys. So that's why I played, because they were resting the right back that was already there. Fraser Richardson was like England under 19 right back. So that's who I was up against. But I remember looking at him, looking at Gary Kelly. I mean, Gary Kelly played for the Republic in the 2002 World Cup. He was the right back. Danny Mills, Gary Neville was injured that tournament. Danny Mills played at right back for England. Danny Mills was at Leeds as well. So these are the boys I was up against. But I knew that. And I was looking at these boys for inspiration. I was looking, thinking, right, I'm fucking coming for you. And that was just, that's the way I was. That's the way I was built. So every day I trained, I worked, I got stuck in, I gave it my all. A couple of setbacks, I broke my ankle, a double hernia, there was a few wee injuries, but I always bounced back, and I always got stuck in again. And my second season playing under 19s, I'm in and out of the team. It's obviously now I'm an under 18 player. So you've got boys above you as well. So you've got 24 players fighting for 11 shirts. So I'm in, I'm out. I'm playing for Northern Ireland. I was just named captain of Northern Ireland under 18s, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm going to be a footballer here. It's just, I done what I could do. I have no regrets with football. I got stuck in as much as I could, and I enjoyed it. And the beautiful thing with this is there's lots of boys I played football with back home, and I'm still mates with lads in England and stuff who I play with. So I can't bullshit this. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I was going to be fucking Ronaldo, I was going to be Messi. Not at all. I wasn't a footballer. I was that wee grafter. I was a grafter, so it was. And it was my third season. My life just, it happened. I came back home as normal after my second season this summer, and my dad has me out in the streets. I'm running out in the streets, I'm going to the gym, I'm keeping fit, I'm keeping ticking over. And I go back for my third season, and I'm only back 2 weeks. I can remember we had a Northern Ireland training camp. We had a Northern Ireland training camp in Belfast, and it was literally the week before I was going back, so this was probably June 2002. And we have a training camp up in Belfast, and I'm there. Rue McLean's actually with me. I grew up with Rue McLean, and McLean's playing for Institute, I think. and we're there together. And the manager is, I think he used to play right back for Man United. He was a Man United, I forget his name, but he was under 19 Northern Ireland manager. And when I went in, he was like, fucking hell, Peter Mitchell, nice to finally meet you. Because it always seemed like when I got a Northern Ireland call up, I got injured. And it used to piss me off getting a call up because I knew, oh, something's going to happen here. I broke my ankle the first time. I had a double hernia. I had a wee tweak here. I always missed the Northern Ireland training camps. And at one point, I got called up for under 19s and I was only 17. And it was for the European Championships in Estonia. And I got injured and I couldn't go. And I was the only player, my age group, that got called up. And I was absolutely gutted because this was playing international football with the older lads. And so I finally meet him. I'm finally there. And he pulled me aside. He was all right. This year, you know, you're at Leeds, you're doing well. You're my captain this season. You're going to be the captain of the country this year. And I was like, wow, thank you. Thank you so much. And literally, I go home. I have a week at home. And I go back to Leeds. And 2 weeks into Leeds, the car crash happened. 2 weeks in Leeds, I just moved into the digs. So, like I says, we lived in the training ground for 2 years. So I'm literally rolling out of bed. I'm going for my breakfast, and boom, we're there. You're living in the middle of it. So we're in the digs. We're getting in the car. We're driving in the training. We're driving back. I didn't drive. So there was two lads, and there was 5 of us in the digs, 4 Irish lads, and Simon Johnson from Birmingham. Simon and Fergie both drove cars. Fergie's from Newry, and I can remember the under-19s were going to Scotland for a pre-season tournament, and I had been told if you want to leave, you can leave. Like I said, like Gary Kelly, Danny Mills, they had a good side. So I had been to Leicester. I went to Leicester on trial. And Leicester won the championship, and I done well. I was supposed to go back to Leicester. I had John Cunningham at Carlisle ringing me to go to Carlisle, and that's a regret I have. I think I should have took. I think someone should have advised me to go to Carlisle. I should have went because Carlisle were in the 3rd division. I could have went maybe played a bit of first team football under Bugsy, under whoever it was, and I sort of thought, well, I'm at Leeds, but Leicester's there, and Leicester's in the championship. Leicester got promoted that year, so there's a chance to do. If there's a chance, I have to. Do you know what I mean? It was my career, but I just wish someone had maybe says go on loan. It's your 3rd year. Go on loan and play a bit of senior football, a bit of men's football, but it didn't happen. I'm going in and out in the car. We're driving in the trains in the mornings, and one weekend, I can remember my last training session. I can remember that weekend. I can remember a Saturday morning. So a few of the boys are away to Scotland on a pre-season tour, and I've stayed back. I think it was probably because Gary Kelly and Mills had just been at the World Cup, so they had no right backs. So I stayed back. I was training with the first team. The reserves, and I can remember the training session. And you're finishing off right. Next goal is the winner, and I can remember I scored the goal against Nigel Martin, and Nigel Martin was fucking. How many caps for England? He was the Leeds first team goalkeeper. I can remember scoring the goal against Nigel Martin and running off. So hey, the way, yeah, I scored a goal against. And Saturday morning, training's finished. I went and seen the wee girl I was dating back then, a wee English girl, and I went back to my digs Saturday night. Saturday night, we're going for a Chinese, and I says to him, "You're driving too fast." And he punched me in the arm. Mitch, wise up, we're okay. We get our Chinese, we go back to the digs, and the next night, there's 4 of us in the car. We're in the exact same road. We go to the shop, we get our munchies. We're actually getting stuff to go back and just chill out and watch Big Brother. Honestly, that's what we were doing. That was the plan, and we're driving back. And for whatever reason, I'll never know, he pulled out on our side of the road, our driver. And it was 21st of July. It was a beautiful day. I think it was 8 o'clock at night, so it was a lovely day. There was no danger, but I don't know why he done it. He just pulled out on our side of the road, and this car came, but the car was far enough away. We were okay. And when he went to get back in, he was doing 60 miles an hour. I can remember I was sat in the back left, so I could see the speedometer. He was doing 60, and he went in, but he went in too hard, and he hit the side of the road, and the car just went. He just lost control, and the car ended up boom, 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 spinning, and it ended up on the golf course. So he hit the dune, and it ended up on the golf course where it was, and I can remember sealing through there. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and I was sat back left, and I just gripped. I gripped onto the headrest in front of me, and you're waiting for that impact, and the car's just sealed, and all I could hear was this, and I'm gripping, and then it's bang, 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 and the car eventually stops, and now the car's upside down, and I'm lying, and because I was holding on to the headrest, my left arm's stuck. I'm stuck on the headrest. My body is now where my legs were, and my legs were up in the back seat. So I'm lying like this, I'm stuck, and I can hear the boys kicking in the windows. And the 3 lads kick in the windows, and they crawl out. They get out of the car, and one of them comes, Jared Breen. Jared Breen was from Dundalk, and he's shouting, "Mitch, you okay?" and I'm trying to say help, and I couldn't breathe, and initially at the very start, I wasn't thinking on my back sore or anything. I was just worried about breathing, and I'm lying there thinking, I'm trying to say help, and honestly, lads, I thought I was dead. I was lying, I can remember lying, I was thinking about mum back home. I was thinking my mom's going to get a phone call, I'm dead. And I can remember just lying in the back like hard, praying, please don't do this. Please don't do this to me. I'm 18 years of age, please. And I'm trying to catch, and I get a wee bit of rhythm of breathing. And I don't know if I blacked out. I don't know what happened, but I didn't see the ambulance. I didn't see the fire brigade. I wasn't alert for any of that. I woke up the next day, and my family were all there at the bottom of the bed, and I was lying in the bed, and I would have been on a lot of medication in Leeds. Obviously, what had happened was I broke my back in 2 places. I'd fractured my ribs, I'd fractured my chest bone, I'd fractured my collarbone, I'd fractured the wrist. My face was tore clean off me, and the other 3 boys kicked in the windows and crawled out without a scratch. Unbelievable, just complete potluck. But like I said, I don't remember Leeds Hospital at all. I was in Leeds Hospital for a week, and they operated on me over there. So I have 2 metal rods either side of my spinal cord, and there's screws going across to keep my spinal cord straight. But I say I don't remember Leeds, but I have a few memories, but they're not real, if that makes sense. Because I have this one memory where I'm lying in this bed and it's a big open fire, and there's lovely bookshelves and all this around, but I'm obviously high as a kite and whatever medication they're giving me. But all the young lads were around my bed. I can remember Rue Higgins always says he came up from Coventry to see me. He came up for a day, and I put everyone out of the room. He came up to see me. It was a million miles away from where I should have been. A million miles away from where I should have been, and just something it was so preventable. It was so preventable. And again, one of the hardest things for me come to terms with it wasn't my fault. I could have lived with it a bit better if it was my fault. It wasn't my fault. I didn't, I wasn't acting jack like that. I wasn't responsible for any of this. But I can remember I got transferred after a week from Leeds Hospital to the Royal Hospital in Belfast. So a few of the boys, they're ringing me and they're keeping in touch, Mitch, how are you and everything else. And I can remember one of the lads on the phone to me. I think it was Sean Lavery. Sean was in the car. Sean's from Lurgan. And he says, Mitch, we used to have a priest that always came in the training ground. He was a massive Leeds fan, so he was there nearly every day. And the priest had went in and said, the boys, look, it's happened to Mitch for a reason. It's happened to Mitch for a reason. Mitch is strong enough. Mitch will be okay. It's happened to him for a reason. He'll be okay. And I didn't believe it back then, but he was right. He was right. I mentioned I wasn't this technically gifted footballer. I was just that fire in the belly. I was that wee man that I just wanted everything, and I worked hard, and I kept that tenacity. I kept that fire in the belly. I can remember my mum telling me that, Peter, son, you're going to be in hospital for Christmas. The specialist says you won't be home, but you could be in hospital for a year. I can remember my mum, my dad, my brother thinking they're going to come up to Musgrave Park to have Christmas dinner with me, and I thought, fuck that, no way. I was out of hospital in 7 or 8 weeks. 7 or 8 weeks. I got transferred to Musgrave Park, and I can remember the first day they took me down to physiotherapy, and I wasn't even allowed to push myself. They wheeled me down and they parked me at the side of this big soft sponge bed, and the physiotherapist says, right, after a few weeks we'll get you to jump out of your chair. You can lie down and you can sit back up. And she turned around to speak to the occupational therapist, and as she's talking to her, I jumped out. I put on the brakes and I jumped out of that was probably my first time doing it, because I was getting hoisted everywhere. My body was still healing, but I'd done it. And as I sat back up, I said, right, what's next? And she went nuts. She cracked up. She goes, you can't do that. You've had major surgery. You can't do that. We need to look after you. And for the first time, I bit back hard. You can imagine the frustration. I'm 18 years of age, and I says to her, don't treat me like any other patient. I'm a footballer. And looking back now, it breaks my heart. God love me. I'm a footballer. You know what I mean? My career was gone, but these are words I use. This is what it says. Please don't treat me like anyone else. I'm a footballer. I'm a young, fit man, 18 years of age. And we had a few words, and she says, okay, we'll work with you, but you need to listen. You need to be careful because you've had major surgery. You can't just... And she's right. Of course she's right. She was a professional. She knew better than me. But I didn't want to lie in a bed. I didn't want to be wheeled here and wheeled there, and you have to lie here for 3 weeks and you can't do anything. Let me go home. I don't want to be in a fucking hospital. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here with anyone. This is the last place I need to be. I don't even want to go home. Just fucking turn back the clock and let me go back to Leeds. Do you know what I mean? Just let me go back. I can remember every night my mum used to come up to me every day. God love her. She'd be with me first thing, did the last thing, and the road back there, Loma Valley to Belfast was shit. The country roads probably took her an hour and a half to get up, an hour and a half back. And I can remember every time my mum left, I'd just go back to the bed, pull the curtain, fucking break my heart, cry myself to sleep every night, thinking, what am I doing here? Why? What am I doing here? I thought my life was over. I just couldn't understand it. But the specialist telling my mum he'll be home after Christmas, that annoyed me. And I used that. I thought, right, no, I'm going to show you. I'm not here for Christmas. There's no way I'm here for Christmas. And so I started the physiotherapy, the occupational therapy, the wheelchair skills and everything else. And I can remember I got to the stage where, right, you can go home now. My mum lived in a 3-story townhouse, so it wasn't accessible for me. My mum had to get a new house. So, you think poor Peter lost his career and Peter's in a wheelchair. It had such a domino effect. My mum had to give up her home. My mum, I was away from home for 2 years. My mum, but she was at uni. She had to pack in her university. She didn't become my care. I didn't need a care, but she gave up everything for me. Do you know what I mean? She gave up everything for me. Her son Peter's back home, and she made sure, she got a bungalow for me to come home to. All my friends' families, they all made sure I had somewhere to go home, that I had a home to go to, that I wasn't going to be staying in hospital any longer than I needed to, that there wasn't going to be a hospital bed put in this townhouse where the bathroom on the 3rd floor. They made sure Mitch had somewhere to go home, and for that, honestly, what they done for me back then is just, my mum was an absolute superstar. And obviously that's what mums do, isn't it? That's what mums do. But what she just gave up everything for me, and the help of my family and my friends, what they done for me back then, it was incredible. So I got to the stage, a few weeks had passed, and they says, right, you can go home at the weekends, go and see this new house and go and see how you get on. So I'm in this big chair. It's not a chair like this. It's an NHS chair, so it's not quite as tight. It's not quite as sporty. And I'm going home to this new house. And I remember, lads, my mum came up to get me, and I jumped in the car. And this is my first time in a car since my accident. And we didn't go to the car park. I felt sick. Couldn't be in a car. My mum literally reversed out and went to go, and I'm opening the door and I'm hanging out. I'm like, I can't do this. And she stopped, and I got out of the car, and I went back in. The nurse like, what happened? What's wrong? I said, I can't go home. I can't be in a car. I'm so sorry, I can't. So it's okay. Stay here. We'll try next week again. So I'm back in, I'm doing my occupational therapy, I'm doing my physiotherapy, and it comes to Friday again and say, right, Peter, let's try. So I was adamant this time, I'm doing it. I'm getting home. I'm getting home this time. So I've got the bag and my head's just down the whole way. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Get me home. So we eventually get home, and all the boys are coming to see me. All my friends, all the people I grew up with, they're all coming to see me. Mitch is back, and it's great to see everyone, but it's just so different. Before I was coming home, I was a footballer. Mitch is home. We were going out to Gortine, we were having a bit of crack, and this time it was just, Mitch is home. And straight away you seen it, how it changed. And like, whenever I did eventually come home, like, to be fair, the boys didn't leave my house. They didn't. Every night the boys were in my house. It was like a fucking hotel. It did not stop. The door was always open. There was always people coming and going. So the first weekend passed, I probably went out with the lads, and my mum's driving me back, and we stop off in Toom. For a bite to eat. Do you remember the chippy in Toom? Was it Twisters? Was there a Twisters chip in Toom? Yeah. Aye, we stopped there for a bite to eat, and I get a curry and chip. Now obviously you're getting hospital food all the time, so my mum comes out. This is when it really hit home. My mum comes out, she gives me the curry and chip, and I'm sitting in the car and we're eating the curry and chip, and we get back. So I get back to I get back to the hospital and my mum leaves. And at this stage now, I've got my independence back. I'm allowed to jump out of my chair and can do everything for myself. So I go to the side of the bed, I jump in and take off my clothes, jump into bed. And when I pull down my jeans, my thigh muscles all blistered. I was sat eating the chippy and didn't realise it was sat in my thigh and it was burning my leg. And I didn't feel the burn in my leg. And that was when it really hit home. I was like, fuck, I didn't fucking. And that terrified me. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, this is real. This is, I called the nurse and she came in. She was right, it's okay. And they plastered up and all the rest. So it was a quick learning lesson, a very, very quick learning lesson. Because around that time, I was starting to get a wee bit of sensation back. And it was like, do you ever watch, I always compare it to, do you ever see like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? And they put them in the box and the creepy crawlies. And you can see the creepy crawlies and they're all freaking out. I've broke my spine in 2 places, but my brain is still sending the signals to my body, like, so they're still trying to light up, and I just don't have that muscle to get going, but I can feel it everywhere. But a lot of people don't do it, so it's my nerve ends. My nerve ends are still trying to go. 'Cause remember, wasn't it Christopher Reeve broke his neck, and he was trying to walk on his nerve ends. They had him in the swimming pool. He was trying to walk and stuff. So I have all of that. Even talking now, my feet, my legs are like this. They're going. So I started to get that back in the hospital. I thought, oh my God, I remember being on the phone to one of the boys saying, I'm getting sensation back. They were, what? I swear to God, I'm getting sensation back. And I says to the nurse, oh, Peter, there's no way. I go, look, I can feel it. She goes, right, we'll keep an eye on it. But it's just, apparently it's just my nerve end, so it's something I've learned to live with. Like, you know, if you fall asleep on your arm and your arm's dead, and it's like, that tingliness, that's what it's like. It's just my brain still sends. It's crazy, but like I said, like I have a friend who's the exact same break as me, and he doesn't have it. Where I'm completely, like, if they were to do something tomorrow where they could teach you to walk on your nerve ends, I'd be fucking running out that door. Do you know what I mean? They're everywhere. So I'm back. I go back to the hospital, and it's just getting through it. Then I'm ready to go home. And we're sitting down, and it's myself. I'm at the top of the table, and the main woman from the hospital is right in front of me, and we've got a nurse, an occupational therapist, my family on the table. And she says, Peter, have you any questions? And lads, I always tell the story, but it's quite contradictory. But like I says, Leeds, I have memories of Leeds Hospital, but I know they're not real now. But, you know, I was in love with I was there for a week. But I always had this memory of me being in Leeds Hospital. And the specialist saying to me, your football career's over, but you've got a 1% chance of walking. And I made that up. I know now, but I have this memory of someone saying that to me. And when the specialist had says, Peter, have you any questions? I says, yeah. I got told in Leeds I have a 1% chance. What do I need to do? And she just looked at me with those sad puppy dog eyes. Peter, son, I'm so sorry. No, you won't walk again. And once again, I bit with her, and I was like, what do you mean? She goes, you can't. With fear injuries, you'll never walk. And I says there, you're not God. You can't tell me I can't walk again. And she says, Peter, son, I know, I'm so sorry, but with fear injuries, it's never, ever been done before. And that was just, I've built myself up a wee bit. I'm ready to go home. And that news just completely fucking wiped it out again. I was back to square one again. So this is me. This is my life now. So I get home. I get home, and it's not my home. It's not my home. I didn't grow up in that house. It's a different house. It's a different house up the street, but it's back in Lamavati. I'm living with my mum, living with my brother, and all my mates are coming over to see me and stuff. And that first year was horrible. First year was fucking horrible. I was sitting up late at night. I was getting up late in the mornings. I had to have been depressed. Of course I was depressed, but I didn't. I can remember back then people wanted me to go and see someone and talk to someone, and I never wanted to do it. We all have our own way of grief. We all have our own way of dealing with stuff. And I always had to be strong. Back then, I never cried in front of my mum. My mum never seen me shed a tear. I couldn't cry in front of my mum. Like I says, when she left, I broke my heart, but I couldn't do it in front of her. I needed my mum to feel like I was okay, because she was already worrying enough. My dad, my brother, my family, everyone was already worried for Mitch, poor Mitch, and I could not show them that I was struggling. So it was the same sort of thing. I'm back home, and I just have to put on a brave face every day. I'm okay. And that night, that first year, fucking cry myself to sleep every night. every night lying in bed, and there used to be beads of sweat dripping down me lying in bed, and me, like it says, my legs are now lighting up. The legs are now lighting up, and I'm trying to kick, and I'm trying to stand, I'm trying to just get up normally, and I can't. I just can't do it. And the frustration, I had to rest for a year, so it was just, like I said, sitting up late, getting up late in the mornings, watching TV, going out with the boys, going downtown. It was Lama Valley. There was nothing to do. Leeds looked after me. Like I said, I signed a 4-year contract. So this was my 3rd season. So Leeds honoured my contract. So I still had my wages coming in. So I still had a bit of money. So it was a bit of freedom for me. But after the first, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what. I honestly no idea. I was lost. I was completely lost. And I remembered in hospital, a fella came to see me and mentioned wheelchair basketball. We could do with a good wheelchair. We could do with a good player. We could do with a good 1-pointer because of my level of break. I would be classified as 1 point in the basketball court because it's quite a high break. And I got home and I thought, well, wheelchair basketball is the obvious one for me. It's a team sport. It's a team sport, and once again, I can get fucking stuck in again. You know what I mean? I can get in a chair and I can get a few boys and I can get rid of a lot of frustration. And believe me, I had a lot of frustration then. So the year passed and I got my driver's license. Driving the car was no problem, lads. Driving the car was no problem at all because I was in control. Now, I'd never drove before, so it was completely different. It was an automatic car with a hand control. So I pulled the accelerator and I pushed the brake, left hand on the wheel, boom, boom. So I jumped in, took the chair apart. So I get a car, and I can remember, Jesus, looking back now, it's crazy. I can remember practicing taking my chair apart and trying to put my wheelchair in the back seat, and I was fucking hitting the wing mirrors. I was scratching the steering wheel. I was hitting the roof, getting this brand new car all dirty. I was like, oh, stop fucking dirtying your car. So just practice technique. So I get it down. I was a Ford Focus. And I start driving, so I'm now going up to Antrim twice a week, training with the Belfast Knights. And I remember going in and watching, I watched a few of their sessions, and you're looking at them, and some of these guys are born with disabilities, some of them had lost their legs, some of them had been like myself, they'd been in accidents. It was just a real mixture. I thought, yeah, I need this. I need to be around. I was involved in team sport my whole life. I needed sport. Sport built me. I needed to be involved in sport as soon as possible, so I went straight up. And I can remember I joined too late. I couldn't sign that year. So I was training with them for, I forget how many months it was, but I could only train. I couldn't play, so I was training, watching the game. But I think it actually worked out well for me because it sort of gave me that opportunity to get to know the boys first. They try, and so it was the same sort of thing. I was looking at their 1 point players and thinking, I'll be better than you. I've got 6 months now. I'll be fucking better than you. So I'm training twice a week with them, and I'm now going to the recreation centre in Lama Valley, and I'm shooting myself. I'm doing a bit of training myself. For my own head, I just need to do something. So I put it into wheelchair basketball. Before the end of that season, I'm in the Irish squad. I'm travelling to Portugal a year later, playing for Ireland at the European Championships. I can remember Great Britain came in for me and asked me would I play for their juniors. I think it was like under 21s, whatever age group it is. And I spoke with our coach Kirby, and I says to Kirby, look, I'm fucking proud Irishman. I would rather play for Ireland than play for Great Britain juniors. But Great Britain then, they were going pro as well. And they're like, right, if you knuckle down here, there's a chance you could maybe go pro and play with, and you could fucking, they're one of the best teams in the world. You could go and travel the world with this lot if you want to put the work in. And it sounded amazing. I was thinking, Jesus, that would be class. But I was a greenhorn. I was only starting out. I thought, well, do I know something? I can get in the Ireland team now straight away. And I think playing for Ireland, I was obviously captain of Northern Ireland with football. And I thought, how many people have represented their country at 2 different sports? And this was here for me straight away now. I was getting offered this chance. You have an opportunity to go and play for Great Britain juniors, or you have an opportunity to go and play for Ireland at the Europeans. So there was no choice for me to make. Like, it was always going to be Ireland. I was like, all right, I'm going to Portugal with the boys, my teammates, and the boys from down south. And I can remember going, and I was back involved again. I was at team sport. I was with the lads. We're in Portugal for like 10 days. We're playing the tournament. We get our arses handed to us probably, but it doesn't matter. I'm back in the mix. I'm in sport again. Sport. This was my life, my whole life, and it's just good to be around it. But I can remember having a conversation, and I says to Kirby, our manager, and he was saying, "You're enjoying the basketball, aren't you?" And I was like, "I am," but it wasn't football, lads. Football is my first love. Do you know what I mean? I played football for the love of it. That was my first love. You grow up as a kid and you have a dream. And for your dream to come true, that was my dream. How many kids have their dreams come true? I was living the dream. And so with the wheelchair basketball, I was doing it to stay fit, to keep my head going, to keep myself ticking. I was doing it. I just needed something. And the fact that I never played it before, that was a challenge. I thought, right, I'll start off. I was in good enough shape still. A year had passed. I was obviously a footballer. I was still in good shape. So I thought I was going to just be flying machine because there was a flying machine in my feet. So I get in the basketball chair. I remember my first session, I pushed up the court and I went to take a layup and I couldn't reach the net. My arms were dead. But of course they were dead. I'd only been from the sofa to the fridge, the sofa to the car, driving down the street. I didn't do any training for a year. I couldn't do anything. So I can remember the first few weeks, I remember driving home one night from Antrim thinking, fuck this, I can't do it. It's too hard. I'm just starting from scratch again. It's too hard. My arms were sore. I was getting back home at 11:30 at night. I had to get a bite to eat. I had to get showered. I'm getting up late in the morning. I was like, but I had to stick at something. If I hadn't have stuck at the basketball, I would have stayed at home. I would have probably ate a load of shit. I would have put on a load of weight, and it's not me. It's not me. I needed something. I still had a fire in my belly. I needed to do something. So I put it on the basketball, and like I says, I get an Irish squad. I'm playing for Ireland again. We're playing the British League with the night, so we're going to England some weeks. We're up in Antrim some weeks, and the boys are class. Honestly, some of the lads I met through wheelchair basketball, and from all over the country with different stories. I headed off with Kirby straight away. Kirby was our coach. Kirby's able-bodied. He didn't have an injury, but he was always a basketball player, and he got the opportunity to coach wheelchair basketball. And even he tells a story. When he first got propositioned with us, he thought, fucking wheelchairs. Ugh. But then he went to watch and he said, oh my God. So it got to the point where even he jumped in and he could play. And he was our best player. He was a basketballer. Where most of the lads probably are like myself, they were in it because they were in wheelchairs. So it was a chance for them to play sport, where he was a basketball player. So his shooting was just bang, bang, bang. Wee Matt's story was much worse than mine. Matty was only 7 or 8 and he was his house was getting renovated, and I think they had their tractors and these big machines out the front of their house. They were getting all this work done on the house, and wee Matt climbed into this machine, hit the button, this combine harvester, whatever it was, and it cut his lace. Fucking took the legs off him, dragged him into the machine, took the legs off him. He's a double amputee. He was only 8-9 years of age, but he survived that, and now he's unbelievable. Matt, if I'm 40 next year, Matt's probably 44, and just his wheelchair skills are just, he was an absolute whippet, an absolute flame machine. So to be around him and his story and these different guys, boys born with disabilities, it was just great to be around the boys again. It was just great to be around boys again and playing. And it was through the basketball that I got the acting opportunity. It was a Tuesday night, and one of the boys says, I've got an email, I'll show it to you on Thursday. I was like, oh fuck, this is going to be a piss take. What's this going to be? So I come back up on Thursday night, and the training session finishes, and he calls everyone. He says, right lads, I want you to hear this here. Channel 4, and he read out this character description. Channel 4 are after this character. This character is called Dan. Dan is a quiet, shy boy, but come the end of the show, Dan gets his confidence back. Who does Dan remind you of? And all the boys laughed. Mitch, Peter. And they're all laughing, taking the piss, and I'm thinking, I watch TV. Who wouldn't want to be on TV? I'm thinking, well, I want to go for this. Do you know what I mean? They're thinking they're taking the hat out of me, where I'm thinking, you're giving me an opportunity here. So I reached out to Channel 4. I thought I hadn't worked since my accident. I'm now 24 years of age. I just moved to Derry. I'd been going out in Derry. So I just love it's 5-6 years after my accident. So I got a house in Derry. Derry was close enough to home, 16 miles up the road. I have family in Derry, I have friends. But it was close enough, but it was also far enough away just to go and start new. Do you know what I mean? Everyone on Valley knew me. It was always, oh, how are you? Do you know what I mean? I was always the wee lad that fucking lost his football career. And that's what I was always going to be. So I just needed to go away somewhere. And Derry was close enough, but far enough. So I moved to Derry. I'm still playing the basketball, and I'm only in Derry 6 months. And I fall in love. I fall in love straight away. I'm going out twice a week, and I meet this girl, and I'm head over heels. It's January 2008, I think it is. So I'm 24, and I meet her. She's playing hard to get. She's playing really hard to get, and it was the first time I'd been going out for 6 months in Derry, and no one knew me. And Lumavady, it was everyone knew me, and I was going out with the boys. I was getting drunk, having a bit of crack. But then I go to Derry, and no one knows me, and it's like, fucking hell. I was like, okay, this is. I was doing all right for myself when I was coming to the ladies. Like I was having fun. I was having fun for a few months, and then I meet the one, and I'm like, oh, I can't let this one go. I can't let this one go. So I meet Brenda, and she's playing hard to get. She's playing hard to get for weeks. I think it took 6-8 weeks to get my first date. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, looking back now, she's fucking lucky I still. You know what I mean? Like 6 or 8 weeks for a first date. Jesus Christ. So I'm chasing her, and at the same time, this opportunity comes with the basketball, and but I remember, so I get in touch with Channel 4, and they're like, right, can we see your profile, your online profile? Now back then it wasn't Facebook, it was Bebo. Do you mind Bebo? So they go on my Bebo page, and they're looking at my profile picture, and like, okay, yeah, you fit the description, you can come over for an audition. So I went over for the audition, and I can remember going into this room, and there's a line of lads in front of me, and there's this big glass booth, and I can see them audition, and I'm like, oh my God, this is mad. So the boys are in, out, in, out, in, out. I go in, I'm in for an hour. I'm in the room for an hour, so and I'm doing 2 scenes. I've learnt my lines. I do the 2 scenes, bang, bang. That's my first time doing it. And they're like, oh, so what have you done before? And I'm like, nothing. What do you mean, nothing? So what have you been in? Have you plays back home? Nah, I was a footballer. I've never done it before. They couldn't believe I hadn't acted before. Like, no, right, you're coming back next week. We have Kierna who plays Carrie, and we need you to audition with Kierna. So this show was about 6 different people with 6 different disabilities, cast-offs. And Kierna was playing, Kierna's character was a dwarf, but Kierna's character and Dan had a wee bit of a would they, won't they thing. So they wanted to see if me and her had a bit of chemistry in front of the camera. So I came over the following week, I auditioned with Kierna. The first time I'm doing it with them, the first audition, they're shaking my hand, they're hugging me. Oh, that was great, thank you so much. Second time I fly over, I audition with Kierna. Okay, thank you, we'll be in touch. I'm like, fuck, shit, I've lost it. I've blew it. So I'm leaving. I'm over in London. I go back to the hotel. I've got my mum with me. We're checking out of the hotel next morning. And I get a phone call. And it's, hi, Peter. It's some receptionist from 11 Films. How do you think it went? I'm like, look, I'm fucking gutted. I know I blew it. I said, look, I was in the middle of auditioning, and I can remember a big black lad came in his chair, Tyler, and he played in the British League as well. So I recognised him, and I knew he acted before, and he just put me off. I seen him coming out, and I thought, shit, I'm against this guy. And I sort of fluffed my lines, and that's what happened. I was like, look, I seen Tyler, I fluffed my lines, I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. And so, nah, you're okay. The job's yours. The job's yours if you want it. I'm like, are you fucking serious? So yeah, the job's yours. So my mum's checking. I'm like, right, okay, thank you. So we'll be in touch. So hang up the phone. Mum comes over. Oh, son, are you okay? Well, fuck, it's my own fault. Mum, I blew it. I knew I should have. Oh, it's okay. We'll go back home. It's okay. And I'm like, told you I could be an actor. There you go, told you. So we're not even out the door. My phone goes again, and it's, hi Peter, there's an agent on the phone. He'd like to meet with you. Have you time? And I was like, wow, this is mad. So I was like, yeah. She goes, right, where are you staying? So I gave him a hotel. He came met with me in Starbucks, and he's like, right, they've been looking for this character for 6 months. The fact you came over by yourself, you got the job, I'll sign you now. He says, I'll sign you now. He goes, you'll film. It was 6 weeks filming. He says, you'll film this year, and I promise you I'll get you more work. So I'm thinking, this is amazing. Okay, so same with him. But I genuinely thought, I'll do cast-offs. It'll be an experience. I'll go back home to Brenda, and we'll see what happens. Like, so I do cast-offs. I'm in Nottingham filming, and people think filming, it's all glitz, it's all glam. It's fucking hard work, lads. Oh my God. We would have been up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You're getting ready, you're going to film 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. But then you're going back. We were staying in a hotel, even caravans sometimes. And you're going back to the hotel, you might have 8 scenes for the next day. So you're going home, you're getting a bite to eat, you're getting washed 10 o'clock at night, and then I'm reading over these 8 scenes for the next day again, and I never acted before. So I was always comfortable in front of the camera, and it was just that challenging. I was like, oh my God, yeah, let's do it. That's a challenge for me. For I had no education whatsoever in it. There was nothing. But I always worried about remembering my lines. That was the one thing I worried about. So I worked and I worked and I worked. But then once you sort of get into it and you hear other actors fluffing their lines and them shouting, line, I was like, oh, it made me sort of relax because they're in the same boat. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't too bad. So they were happy, and obviously they can edit. So they were always happy to, okay, we'll go again, take it from here, take it from there. And they were always giving sound advice. Okay, you're playing it too happy. He's not happy with this. You've just received this news. Now you're sad. Okay, now you're listening. And that's why I always had it change. So it was just, this is amazing. And someone's saying to you, be happy, be sad. You can do it. You can. That's just, do you know what I mean? That's just an expression. So I was doing it, and they're like, oh, this is great. This is great. So I'm thinking, have I a chance here? Is there? Let's see what happens here. So the show went out in November, and I think it got like, I think it was 2 million viewers watched it. It was the very first episode. It was 6 episodes, and so they split it up. Each episode was about a different character's backstory. So the very first episode was my backstory, Dan, and it was about Dan, and he's at home with his dad, and the whole storyline is they're going to maroon these 6 disabled people on this island to fend for themselves. Can they survive? And but it was just, obviously, it was brilliant for me because it was just new. It was new. So the show goes out. The show does really well. And a few months pass. I get a phone call from my agent. Hollyoaks want to meet with you. I thought he was taking the piss. I was like, all right. He was like, no, Hollyoaks want to meet. I said, right. Is there a script? He says, no. I was like, ha, ha, ha. Very good. He was like, Peter, you're coming to Liverpool. You're coming over next week. Book your flights. Come over to Liverpool and meet with the producer. So I booked my flights. Flew over to Liverpool, and we're sitting in a room, and he's just handing me, he's talking to me, he's just saying, right, your character is going to come over, and he's going to be strong, he's going to be independent, and he's going to ruffle a few feathers. Because normally on TV, you would see people in wheelchairs or people, and sad stories, isn't it? Oh, poor wee had this, or it's always a sad story, where, thank God, Hollyoaks were bringing me in, and I mean, to be fair to them, they made me the principal of a high school. Now I was only 25. It's a bit far-fetched, but obviously it's Soapland, so it's okay. I was only 25, 26 now. They've made me, like, the character was the principal of a high school. I think he was a bit older than what I was, so say he was 30. So at least he was strong. He came in, and the whole storyline was, back then, Brendan Brady was fucking one of the main men, not only in Hollyoaks, but on soaps. He was winning soap awards, so I was coming in as his old friend, and I had dirt on him. So I was going to spill the beans about, he was in the closet. So my character actually came out and told his family, he's gay. He's gay. He tried it on with me. That's why I'm in a wheelchair. He crashed. I turned him down. He crashed the car. So it was this whole storyline. But the unfortunate thing was, I came in, and whenever I came in, the guy that gave me the job left. So the storyline changed. Do you know what I mean? I was never supposed to be a principal. This new guy came in, gave me the principal's job. I was like, oh man, come on. It just changed completely. But it's Hollyoaks. There's no way I was going to say, nah, I don't want that. See you there on my way back home. It's fucking Hollyoaks. So I'm getting up. I'm in makeup every morning for 7:30, 8:15. You're in the chair. They're doing your makeup. It's the same thing. You've 8 scenes. So you're learning your scenes. You're working to 8 at night. Back home, learning scenes again. My first 3 weeks there, the way they done it, they have 6 film crews, and each film crew does a series. Yeah, each film crew will have 1 week's television. So I could be filming at 10 o'clock with you two, and that goes out on, say, Monday, April 2nd. But then my next scene could be in the bar, and that goes out 5 weeks later. So my stubble and my hair always had to be the same. So I'm racing over to get changed for this episode that goes out 5 weeks later, and then I'm back in. Then another episode could be 2 weeks before. So you're just constantly jumping from one film crew to a different film crew, getting changed here, getting changed there. They had to cut my hair, they done my stubble. Everything had to be the exact same because continuity. It was crazy. So I'm doing 8 scenes a day. I'm learning all my lines. I'm flat out, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It's just so different. I'm on the red carpet. I'm going to these soap awards and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm thinking, okay, I can't play football anymore, but fuck me, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. And then the more I'm doing these interviews and stuff. I remember doing interviews with people back home. I'm like, yeah, I want to go to America. You know what I mean? They're all so Peter, you're in Hollyoaks, you're enjoying that. I'm like, yeah, I love it. I want to go to America. I want to be a movie star. I'm like, fuck hell, but it's just one of those things. I have an opportunity here. Why not? Why not me? Let's see where it takes me. So I'm in Hollyoaks for a year, and we sit down there like, right, your character's going to calm down a wee bit, but we don't want you to go. We want you to still be around, but we'll be quiet for a while. Now, I'm paying rent in Liverpool. I've my mortgage back home. Brenda's back home. I'm like, right, it's been a year. It's been class, but I'll go back home. I'll go back home and see what pops up. So it's like, look, thank you so much for the opportunity. I've loved it, but I'll leave it. I was glad to leave it too, but I was like, Brenda didn't want to come over full time, and I was like, I'm going back. I'll go back. So And back home, that summer we get engaged. So we do, and we get married. We get married in 2013. So I'm still doing the acting like at Coronation Street. I'm making a documentary. I'm busy again. I do 10 episodes in Coronation. It's mad, lads. It's just looking back, some of the stuff, it's just crazy. But I got a phone call from my agent, and it was they want to highlight the inaccessibility of the World Cup in Brazil. I think the Brazil World Cup was 2014. The Brazil World Cup, 2012, 2014. So they wanted to make a documentary and highlight the inaccessibility, and I was going to be the presenter of the show, and I thought, that sounds amazing, but it also sounds a wee bit dodgy. Going over to Brazil, being in the favelas, and do you know what I mean? I was like, ooh. So he says, look, if you've any ideas, pitch it to them. So I'm driving up to Belfast. I'm having this phone call in the car on my way to Belfast for this audition. And he said, pitch them an idea if you have one. So I was like, right, what have I always wanted to do? And I thought, right, I always consider myself lucky because when I had my accident, I had my family. You know, I mentioned that my family home, they got a home started for me. Leeds United honored my contract. Not many young boys at 18 have that. What if someone is learning a trade and they fall on a building site and they break their back on a building site? What support do they have? Because they're not going to get what I got. I know that. So I thought, right, I wonder, could we make a show where I go out and see, is enough been done for people who are getting injured like myself? So I pitched this idea to BBC Belfast. And they added up. They were doing this disabled season, 12 different documentaries. So they were going to have 12 different shows over the space of 12 weeks. So I pitched this idea, and they're like, yeah, this sounds good, and we'll pitch it to London, let's see. So they pitched it over, and I got my own documentary, a 1 hour documentary. So they called it Disabled in an Instant. And so what it was about my backstory, but then it was me going out and meeting other young people who'd been injured. So I met a young boy who broke his back and his house wasn't accessible, and they had put him in a hotel. The hotel was an hour away from his house. He was living in this hotel an hour away. I met another girl a Scottish girl, who had some neurological problems, and her body just wasn't strong enough for her, and she knew she was going up in a wheelchair, and she wasn't in an accessible house, and they couldn't get her an accessible house, and she's there with her girlfriend, and she's not getting her benefits because they're saying, well, you're okay now, you can work now. But she couldn't, her body was deteriorating on her, but they're saying, well, look at you now, you're okay. So she wasn't getting any help whatsoever. I went to the House of Commons in London, isn't it? Yeah. I went there, I auditioned this guy who's in charge of all the disability funds and all the rest of it. I sat him down, but I probably had to sign a waiver agreement back then, but do I know some fuck up wrong here? Let's be honest. Before we sat down the night before, I was like, right, these are questions here, and you can't say this. What do you want to ask? So I give a few questions. Like, you can't say that. You can't say that in front of the camera. Come on, nah, he'll not answer that. You can say this. You can say that. So it's basically giving a wee bit of a script. So I sat down with him, but I pushed it. I still pushed it, like, because I got to the stage now where obviously I'm now a married man. I'm now comfortable in my own body again. So I'm like, well, I'm doing this here. I'm doing it right. So we were sitting down, the camera was on us, and I'd be asking questions, and I'd push it a wee bit, and he'd be like, no, I'm not answering that. And the camera would have to stop, and we'd go again, like, fuck, right, okay, I'll try and word it differently. But he was very cute. You know what they're like, politicians, like, do you know what I mean?
Slippery as fuck.
I couldn't get out what I wanted to get out, but I fucking asked. I fucking tried, but it never ever made air. So I'm doing that. I'm filming Coronation Street. And it's hell busy. That year was nuts. That year was absolutely nuts, but it was great. It was an experience. And we're back home. We're living in Derry, me and my wife. And I'd convinced myself, lads. I remember having to lie in bed. I mentioned that first year, and there was never a light switch moment with me. It was just, I remember just lying and just being lost and just thinking, why? Just lying in bed by myself with my thoughts and just thinking. And I just remember one night saying to myself, it's happened for a reason. Maybe I'm supposed to come home and meet the girl. Maybe I'm supposed to have come home and have a family over here. Maybe. And, we all know family's bigger than anything. Family is more important than anything in life. And I'd convinced myself, right, it's happened for a reason. Get on with it now. Get on with it. There's what else was I supposed to do? I have this conversation with a lot of people. A lot of people say, oh, I couldn't have done this. And, oh, you're listening. There's only ever one option. Whenever we're faced with adversity, only ourselves know how to deal with it. For myself, I seen how my family were and everything else, and I just couldn't, like I said, I couldn't show them my emotion. I felt like I had to stay strong for them, And maybe it was my character, I don't know, but I've just always, and I mentioned about the football and stuff, sport built me. Sport built me. That fire in the belly I had from no age, that, I think that was massive in my accent. Because when it came to it, and when the cards were down, they were saying, right, you've got a long road ahead of you, you're going to be in hospital for a year. I had that burning desire in me to say, nah, that's no chance. I'll show you. And it was that attitude that got me to Leeds. It was the same thing. They reach out to Channel 4. The boys laughing. Mitch, that sounds like you. All right, I'll fucking show you. I'll go and I'll get it. Do you know what I mean? It's just that I've had that from no age. Like young Mitch on the football pitch running in front of all muckers. Do you know what I mean? You're licking up to your daddy. It wasn't about my dad. It wasn't about my dad. It was about me being better than them. And it's just something I've had in me. It's just that burn. And me and the wife sat down, and the next thing was, let's try for a family. Let's try for a family. And we're trying, and it's not happening. And I can remember we're up in Belfast, and we're speaking to a specialist, and he sat us down, and it was just like it was 2002 again, lads. And it was just those puppy dog eyes. We're so sorry, but there's nothing we can do. And I'm driving home, and I'm holding my wife's hand, and he's saying, she can't be a mammy because of me. And I'm like, fuck, this is worse. This is worse. This is worse than 2002. Come on. And she's breaking her heart, and I'm holding her hand. And I can remember driving down the M2, and I pulled over. I had to pull over. I couldn't see for tears. I pulled over, and I'm begging her, don't give up. Please don't give up on our baby. Look, I've been told I can't my whole life. You can't be a footballer. You can't be an actor. You can't do this. I've been told I can't my whole life. Fuck them. Fuck them. They're not God. They can't tell us. Do not give up. We went back home, and a few weeks later, my wife done a pregnancy test. She was pregnant. And I'll never forget that morning. She came in. She was all tied out. She was supposed to wake me up and do it with me. And she sneaked out of the room. She sneaked out the bathroom and done it by herself. And she came in, Peter, and she's shaking. I'm looking. She was, I'm pregnant, aren't I? I'm like, yeah. I go, quick, do another one, quick. So she's back in this, and she's fucking locked the bathroom door. Me, hold on, like, let me in. So she's doing it again. She comes out and pregnant again. You're fucking pregnant. So we had to keep her quiet for a while, as you do. And then we told our family, and our baby girl. I mentioned obviously my granddad was a right back. I was a right back. I have number 2 tattooed in my arm from 19. That was my football jersey. My jersey's in the house. Mitch 2. It's number 2 in my Northern Ireland jersey. Our baby, my wife's due date was the 2nd of February, 2-2. And I got close, and he says, look, we're going to put it back. It's going to go back to the 22nd of February. So she was booked in that morning for a C-section, and we got a phone call. Looking back, we were in the shop shopping for a lamp. She's about to pop, and we're in the fucking shop shopping for a lamp, and she gets a phone call. Oh, there's been an emergency C-section. We're going to bring you in 2nd that day. So we go over that like having a hospital. We're sitting, and my wife's fucking tiny. You wouldn't even know she was pregnant. Here she is, ready to bring in this wee beautiful baby. We don't know if it was a boy. We don't know if it was a girl. We kept it a surprise. So I'm looking at the clock, and I'm nervous. I feel sick. I haven't eaten fucking probably in days. The whole way through her pregnancy, I was shit scared, lads. I couldn't show her I was scared, but I was so scared in case. You just don't know, don't you know? You just don't know. And it was, oh my God, and every night you'd be kissing the wee bump, and I love you. And it's like, oh man. So she goes down, she's in, and they eventually call me in. I'm in my robes, and she's lying in the bed, and I'm holding her hand. And wee baby comes, and they're shouting, baby girl Mitchell, born 2 minutes past 2. My daughter was born 2 minutes past 2 on the 22nd of February. Like, that is just, for me, that's a higher calling. Like, for me, those nights lying in bed, not knowing, the sleepless nights, and just feeling that sense of loss, it was just all for her. There was a bigger picture, and it was her. The nurse handed me my baby girl. I'll never forget it. My wife's lying here, and they handed me my baby girl, and she says, have you any names? No, we didn't even... We thought of a few names, but we weren't, it wasn't right. If it's a boy, it's this. If it's a girl, it's this. And I just looked at Brenda, and after the 2 minutes past 2, I said, Brenda, it has to be Faith. It has to be Faith. Because I'm big enough to admit, after my accident, I lost my faith. I was brought up a Catholic, but my mum's a Catholic, my dad's a Protestant, so I was never, do you know what I mean? I was never big, whatever, but I have my faith. I would say I'm more spiritual than I am. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we all have our own different beliefs and stuff. But they hand me this wee baby girl, and she was barely even crying, just looking at me, and I was like, it's faith. It's faith. everything that's just led me here. I'm exactly where I need to be. My wife's lying beside me. She's just given me this beautiful baby girl, Faith Mitchell. Faith, she took her mummy's maiden name as mother, so Faith Casey Mitchell. And her calling me daddy, just her calling me daddy every day, lads, everything was worth it. Everything was worth it. I do talks with the Football League. I go around the academies and I share my stories, talk to the academy boys and stuff, and I always finish off the exact same way. I wing it like this. It's a conversation, so I talk. It's the same sort of thing. I grew up in a small Irish town. I wanted to be a footballer, and then because I come in, they don't realize who I am, what I was doing, like, and I always finish the story the exact same way. If I was given an opportunity to go back to 2002, don't get in the car. You have the chance now. Do not get in that car and go and see how far you can get in football. Or you get in that car and you live this life. I have to get in the car. I have to. My baby girl is my greatest achievement in life. My greatest achievement in life. Nothing will ever top that. And like I says, all that heartbreak, all that not knowing that it led me here. It made me the man I am today. And I'm fucking proud of who I am. I'm proud of what I've been through, and I'm proud of how I've overcome it. And she just gives me so much. Like I mentioned, that fire in the belly. She's just added coal and logs, and I'm just so hungry for her. I will do anything for that wee girl, and as we do for Wayne, just want to give him a better life than what you had, and that's what it's all about now. She was just born, and it was crazy. It's just crazy. Everything's about timing. My daughter was just born, so I sort of stayed away from the acting because Brenda was pregnant and I wasn't really interested. I was like, fuck, I'm at home now with Wayne. I don't want to leave him. And I got a message from Big Mark Clyde. Big Clyde is now the chairman of Lunva United. He was going in to be the manager. He says, Mitch, would you come in and do it with me? I want football men around. Will you come in? And that got me back involved in football. I was like, yeah, I'll come in. So initially it was to take the under-20s, the reserve team. But I remember they wanted me to go down for the interview. It was the 11th of July. I think there was marching, there was bands and stuff down on Vine. I says, big man, I don't want to get caught up in that there. Driving from Derry and there's all that going on. And I says, look, it's a bad night. Can I come down a couple of nights later? So he says, yeah, come down a couple of days later. So he rang me a few days. Mitch, I'm sorry. They've given the job. Someone came in, they interviewed. He says, but I want you in with me. Come down, just come down and see me. So I went down and seen him. And he says, look, there's room, my first team staff, come in with me. So I went down. Obviously, I had an experience first team football. So I went in, and it was just before COVID, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my background football, but I was like, senior football with the men. So I was like, I don't think it's for me. I realised very quickly. So COVID hit. Everything came to a stop, as you know, and then I reached out and I took a different job under 16s. I went to Main City, right beside my house, and I'm big enough now. Like I said, my baby girl, my wife. If I'm going to do something, if I'm going to give up my free time, I want to do it right. And I believe, I'm a football man. I believe that there's no point in me just sitting back and saying nothing if I don't agree with something. And I'm going to be strong enough now. This is my journey now as a coach, as a scout, whatever it may be. And now I'm going to give it my all. It's just me. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it right. So I wasn't happy with a few things that was going on. I told them the under 20 job came up here at Lamavati, so I left and I took the 20s job. And I loved it. And I felt that was my first time proper coaching. I was planning the sessions. I'd done it with Marty Warnock. We're talking nearly every day. It's what you do, coaches. We're planning sessions. We've promoted. We're playing in under 21 league. You're allowed 5 overs, but our team's 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. So we're getting hammered nearly every week. It's fucking tough. But I'm back playing football again. I'm back involved in football again, and I'm loving it. And it was February. It was February last year. Well, where were we? Yeah, February last year. We're just coming towards the end of the season, and I'm doing my talks. I'm in Nottingham, and I'm about to meet the Nottingham Forest lads, under 18s, and I'm sitting at a table like this. I'm in the canteen, and their under 18 manager comes across, Warren Joyce. Warren Joyce walks across, and he doesn't see me. Warren was my Leeds manager. Warren was my Leeds under 17 manager. He doesn't see me. I'm like, what's that? And he looks, and he hasn't seen me in 20 years, and he's still not sure. And then I sort of pull out from the table, and he's like, fucking hell, Mitch. So he comes over, he nearly rips me out of my chair, gives me a big hug. Fucking great to see you. Are you in today? I was like, yeah. I didn't even know. I didn't even know you were a coach. I'm so sorry, I didn't realise. So I speak to his young lads, I tell them the story, and that was really nice because I do my stories, and it's the same here talking to you. And I'm telling you, I wasn't the wee footballer. I was a wee hard hitter. I was just a grafter. And I'm telling my story in front of Wazza, and I'm saying to them, lads, I can't bluff. I can't lie now because there's the manager. So he knows exactly what I'm saying. He'll tell you now he's full of shit. He'll tell you now. And I'm doing my talk now. Wazza was at Man United. He was at Man United for years. He went to Leeds, played league football. He's a fucking legend. So he's a great man. He was very good to me because Warren went to Leeds. I think he might have been my age. So he was young. He was a young coach. He was probably finished playing football. So we would train and he would still have it. He would right foot, left foot. He would still be, and he was fit as a fiddle. But so was I. So when we were training, he'd be at the front of the line and I'd have to fucking beat him. But he still had that competitiveness too where he had to fucking beat me. So it was always me and him at the front. And that was the same sort of thing. The boys were like, oh, he's licking up the coach again. But I'm fucking not. I'm beating the coach. I need to beat him. Do you know what I mean? But he loved that about me and I loved that about him. Me and him just had it off. And so we exchanged numbers. I'm travelling around England doing a few clubs. And that Saturday, my phone rings. I get a missed call. Look at it. It's Warren. I'm like, fuck. Ring him back. Can't get him. He rings me. He rang me straight back. He says, Mitch, you're not going to believe where I am. I'm in Leeds. Our under-18s played Leeds United today in Thorpe Arch. That was our training ground. So he met me on the Tuesday and has teams in Leeds United that weekend. It's mad, like. So he says, I'm doing my old routine. I'm running. He was doing a run up around Thorpe Arch before his team played. He says, Mitch, I was thinking, would you be interested in scouting? And I was like, I fucking love that. I go, that sounds amazing. He goes, right, let me speak to the club and I'll let you know. So a few weeks passed. I never heard back. So I rang him. Didn't answer the phone. Text him. Didn't get a text back. I'm like, fuck. So a few days passed. He rings me. He's like, Mitch, I'm so sorry. I was trying to sort stuff out. He says, look, we have a scout over here. The club's very happy with the scout in Ireland. He says, but if you're watching games, keep an eye out for me and let me know. I was like, right, okay. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. And I hung up the phone and thought, right, I've been working with the Football League for a long time. I've got a few contacts. I thought, fuck, I'd love to be a scout. He put the notion in my head. So I reached out to a few clubs, sent a few emails, and I kept getting not back. And one of my friends was in my house, and he says, Mitch, did you not say you met Craig Bellamy whenever you were at Cardiff? I was at Cardiff the year before. Same thing, doing my story, and Craig Bellamy was the under-18 manager. And Bellamy was, people have this opinion of Craig Bellamy because of the way he played in the football pitch. He was a wee, but Bellamy would have been a bit like myself, that we fucking got stuck in 100% or nothing. And I had it off with him straight away, and he gave me his phone number. He says, look, if I can do anything for you at all, keep in touch with me. So my friend Diggsy says, what about Bellamy? He's just going to Burnley. So Vincent Company got the Burnley job, and they were in Belgium together, and he brought Craig Bellamy with him. So I sent Bellamy a WhatsApp. This is my first time talking to him. I only met him once. Had a conversation probably 2 years beforehand. So I thought, why not ask? It's just a question. So I sent him a WhatsApp. Hi Craig, it's Mitch here from Ireland. I was given an opportunity there to maybe scout for Forest, but it fell through. I'm just wondering, do you have any scouts over here? I think it's something I'd be good at. I think I'd have a good eye for a player. I'm football mad, and I'd love to get back involved. Let me know. All the best. And we're making dinner, and I look at my phone. I have a missed call. I was Craig. I was like, fuck. So we're ringing back. Couldn't get him. We're sat on the sofa. We're about to put our faith to bed, and the phone rings. It's now late at night. Craig Bellamy again. And Brenda's beside me in the wing. I was like, fuck. She could answer the phone. Hello? He's all, Mitch, sorry, pal, I missed your call. I was all, oh, how are you? He was all, yeah, all good. He says, look, it's all sorted. I've spoke to the club. We've got it all sorted. He says, one of the analysis, I'll be in touch with you. So we'll get you up and running. We'll get you over here. We'll get you sat down with the scouts. We'll get you sat down with the recruitment team, and we'll let you know what we want and what we're all about. We'll get you in. We'll get you started. I'm like, fuck, amazing. I was like, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. He was like, no worries at all. He says, look, we'll keep in touch. So this was last year. I get the contract over, signed the contract, a 1-year contract, and for the last year, I've been on my. I started the scouting with Burnley, and then I sort of stepped away from Lamavati. But as I stepped away from Lamavati, the manager who came in to replace me got offered the Derry City women's job. So I'm up. I remember I was up in Belfast watching Linfield under-15s. The Linfield youth teams are fucking brilliant, so they are. So I'm in Belfast a lot watching quite a few of them. And I get a phone call from Paul, and he says, Mitch, we're on the phone for a while. He's Lamavati 20s manager, Paul Dixon. And I'm like, big man, that's me home now. He says, right, I need to tell you something quick. I've been offered the Derry City women's job. And I says, big man, you can't turn that down. it's fucking Derry City. I said, you can't turn it down. I said, Derry City is arguably the biggest club, not just in the north, but the whole of Ireland. You can't turn that down. He says, look, I'm glad you said that because I want you to go on with me. And I was like, oh. I go, look, I would absolutely love to. I said, but with the scouting, I can't. I said, I need my weekends for the scouting. He goes, Mitch, it's going to be midweek games. We'll train Mondays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. We'll get it sorted. We'll work around it. He says, fucking come on with me. I was all, so he says, you said yourself, you can't turn down Derry City. I said, I know. So I was all right, okay. He says, look, I'll ring you tomorrow. So as soon as I hang up the phone again, and I rang Higgins straight away. I was all, Higgins, fucking Dixon's getting the Derry City woman's job. He's asked me to go with him. I said, I can't say no. I have to go. He said, of course you have to go. Go back, get back in now, do both. So for the last year, it's been flat out. We spoke about before the cameras went on. With the girls, it's been a completely different experience. Obviously, I left senior football and men's because I didn't think senior football suited me, but I got a couple of years with younger boys, and then I think the girls came at a good time too. But we're a very young squad as well. We're a very young squad. I mean, our last game this season, we had a squad of 18 and 10 of them were teenagers. So we're a very young squad for our first team football. But I've loved going in. It's just a completely different environment with the girls. They go in, it's just, for example, you'll play a match and after the game you go in the dressing room and everything's cleaned up and all the kit's put in the bag for you. Where you do that, you're with the boys and you're going in, there's fucking socks there and there's shirts there, and it's just an absolute mess there. Away, see, there, lads, thanks, boys. Where the girls are just, it's just completely different. But we're lucky we've got a great group. They're honestly, they're so, like I said, there's a few young girls. We brought in a few more experienced girls. They help them out, but they're honestly, there's like we were out them last week for the season, dude. Now you play your football and everything else, but there needs to be a bit of respect on and off the pitch, and there needs to be a bit of friendship as well. And between me, Paul, and Johnny's almost the three coaches and the girls, there's just something there. It's just like Derry's a massive football club, and this is what I tell them every day. The potential here is massive, but now it's up to us as coaches to maybe try and get in a few more girls to help them and let's try and build this up. Because when we first went in, they'd finished bottom of the league 3 years running. They'd picked up 9 points in 3 years, and we lost our first 13 league games. But they still turned up. We were still having 18, 20, 22 girls training. They still turned up, and there was 3 fixtures we were looking at thinking, right, we need to go on a run. These are the 3 fixtures. 3 of our last 4 games, last 4 games. And it got to the point where we were playing Ballymena away, and you're like, right, we have to beat this lot. And I was so confident. And Paul's talking to the girls at the start, and there's right, Mitch, if you think the same, like, girls, I'm confident. Honestly, it's as simple as this. We're fucking better now. We're better now. I'm now going to do it. You've been beat from pillar to post all year. You've lost 13 games in a row. Some of those games you're playing Glentoran and Cliftonville, and they're beating us 12-13. Now that's tough. But these are games now we need to win. And they went out and they fucking hammered them. They were absolutely brilliant. And you're thinking, right, now we go. Now we kick on. We're in 3 points. There's us. There's Mid-Ulster. 2 Mid-Ulster.
We don't want it. No. Just so we know, Jess, who works with us, Mid-Ulster lady, so you nearly didn't get on here, Peter.
I know. Sorry, Jess. But we beat Ballymena, and then we're playing Mid-Ulster. We're playing Mid-Ulster a full week at the Brandywell. The Mid-Ulster beat us over here in Cookstown, so they did. And Jess, you know we were robbed. You know that goal. It was never a goal. I had how the fuck do you get a goal from the crossbar? honestly, seriously, I was how I didn't get sent off that match, I do not know. But we play Mid-Ulster at the Brandywell, and you're thinking, right, now we've won a game. The girls are confident. Now we fucking beat Mid-Ulster. 2 minutes in, they score. They go 1-0. You're like, oh, no, please. So this is a test of character, right? Now let's see, because now it's up to we can do so much. Now we're on the pitch. Let's see now. And they fucking fought back. We came in 3-1 at half time, 4-1 at full time, 6 points. We've now gone from bottom. We've jumped above Mid-Ulster and Ballymena, and we play Larne the following week away, which is going to be a big game as well. So we're talking, we speak to girls, that's it. Now we can fucking do the same thing to Larne. We're up in Larne. Second last game of the season. We're on 6 points. We need a point. You're thinking, we need 3 points. We're safe. We need to do something here. So we go 1-0 up. And at the match, I mean, lads, I'm a football man, and if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But some of the decisions this year, I don't know what's going on. There's this big thing. Whenever you're involved with Derry, whether it's a club team in Derry or Derry City, whenever you leave Derry, there's this sort of thing where it's like, fuck you. Do you know what I mean? We don't want these Derry ones coming here. We don't want them. They're not taking anything off us. And with Derry City, I mean, I watch the men's first team, and you see the Southern League and some of the decisions. I don't want to dig myself a hole here, but some of the stuff that goes on, it's ridiculous. But we went to Larne. Now, we're a young squad, and I say to my girls all the time, they're too nice. I want the girls on the pitch to be aggressive, to be strong, but they're nice girls and they want to play football, and that's great, and that got us out of the problem we're in. But the first 9 minutes, I think the referee gave 7 fouls against our girls, and you're watching thinking, we're not that sort of team, what's going on here? And I just kept going and going. You're thinking, we're getting nothing, this is going to be one of those nights. We go 1-0 up and they peg us back, and then she disallows a goal. And the goal, she says our player was top of the keeper, but it was their player. And she disallows a goal. For fuck's sake, I lose the head. She books me. I'm like, fucking hell, fucking hell, you serious? She books me, so I'm warning you. So, okay, Dick goes, grab me, fucking calm down. You're like, right. We get on half time on each. I'm telling the girls, if anything kicks off, let me do it. Let us do it as coaches. Don't you get involved. We don't need any of you getting sent off. Let me. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, second half comes, Ellie Redden's doing her thing, she's dancing on the pitch, and she gets a bad kick right in front of the linesman, fucking 6 studs on her shin. She's on the floor crying. I can hear her squealing, crying. I'm like, Lino, he doesn't flag. The referee's like, this play on. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, fucking Lino, I lose my shit. Well, you fucking serious? You seen that? He was all, any more from you, you'll be walking. I says, I'll be walking. I think you're fucking smart, you prick. And I can feel the arm. I can feel the arm back at my top. He's pulling me back. Shut your mouth, you. Shut your mouth. I'm like, fucking hell. I'm like, fucking the weekend. She's on the floor crying, squealing. I'm like, fucking hell, you seen that? The referee comes over. Boom. Yellow card, you're off. I'm like, really? I go, she's crying. And the lino says to me, just because she's crying doesn't mean she's kicked. And I'm like, oh my God. This is like the second last game of the season. At this point, I'm like, I've had enough of this shit now. Come on, man. What do you mean? She's fucking the weakers. You heard it. You didn't need to see it. You heard the studs. They gave us nothing, so I'm sent off. I have to go. We're at Lawrence Pitch, Inver Park. I have to go to the back of the net. Big stand all by myself. So I'm sitting there, and there's the groundsman is there beside me, and he's being smart in my ear. He's saying a few wee comments, and I'm like, I'm not getting involved more. He's sent off. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. So 92nd minute, the ball goes in the box. The ball breaks. We score 2-1. 92nd minute. I'm there all by myself, and the stand was out. Yeah, we fucking dancer. Yeah, I go mad. And one of the groundsman comes over and says, well done. You've won the league tonight. I'm like, what? He's like, he's won the league. Well done. I'm like, you're a fucking smart fucker, aren't you? So, I don't know. I'm just assuming you won the league the way you're going. I'm like, aye. Jog on, mate. You know fine rightly. So 3 wins in a row, 9 points. That was us safe. And I was like, yes.
Well, apparently you're going to be got back next year.
Mid Ulster. yeah. So we finished above Mid Ulster. Yeah, we finished above.
Added that idea.
So between the girls, back involved with the girls, and back watching youth football with the scouting too. So it's great to be back involved with football again. But again, it all came around after the birth of Faith. It was like it was meant to be. Faith gave me, I think before, I took one of the Newton teams like a year after my accident. It frustrated the life out of me. It still does. Football will always frustrate me. Football is my first love. And what they say, you never get over your first heartbreak. That was my heartbreak. It's crazy because I was thinking about this yesterday. I've never once ever thought like, I can't walk. It's never been that. It's always been, I can't play football. And it's always been that. It might sound strange, but it's never been, I'd love to go on a walk, or that's never, because I'm fit, I'm active, I can go wherever. But it's always been football. I can't play football, that's what it's always been. But I'm just glad now that I'm at a stage in life where I can give it my all again. And me being me now, I'm scouting with, I got the scouting job with Burnley. I want to give, the big thing was I would love to give a kid a chance that I got. I was over in Burnley a couple of weeks ago, and that was my first time over, and I watched the youth teams play. I was in there in the training ground and stuff, and I says to them, right, there's a couple of boys back home, let's get them over. Let's get them over now. Let me sink or swim. And it's literally what I said. I spoke to Craig, actually. I met with Craig, and Craig's a real fucking intense, he's very, very intense fella, and I'm saying the same thing. The academy boys, we need to get over players now. We need to build. And I says to the under 18 recruitment, the main recruitment fella, I says, right, let's go. Let's get a few Irish boys over now. And if they're not good enough, sack me. Honestly, let me sink or swim now. There needs to be a reason behind this. I don't want to just go and watch matches and do reports and just it keeps going and going and going. There needs to be an end product here. Let's get a couple over and let's see the crack now. Fucking test me out, because now I'm thinking, right, I'm involved with the girls. I'm thinking now, right, what can I do next? You know, I've got my level 1 and scouting. I'm going to do my level 2. I'm going to do my B license as well this year. So it's going to be all football again. And me being me, I'll kick on. I'll kick on. It's just what I do. I want to put everything to football now. Obviously, family will always come first, but football, I've got the bug back for it. I've got the bug back for the game again, and yeah. Sorry, Jess. But yeah, it's one of those things. See, when that whistle goes for the football, it gets me straight away. It gets me straight away. I'm hungry. Yes, let's go. I've got that fire, and I'm just glad I never had that. I lost it for so long. I couldn't watch football. I couldn't watch football for a couple of years, lads. I remember the first time I was in Hollyoaks, and my agent came up and met with me. He's a Liverpool fan, and he took me to Anfield, and that was when I was like, oh, I've missed this. And I became I grew up a Newcastle fan. The boys slagged me off, but people don't obviously what I went through and stuff. I couldn't watch football for a number of years. It just killed me. I couldn't, I had friends. Some of my best mates were playing for Lunva United. Rory Higgins came back home, was playing for Derry. I was probably at the Brandywell 2 or 3 times in 6 years. It just killed me seeing them boys play football and I couldn't play. So they be in this position now where, and I feel it's all happened at a good time, because now at my age, I feel like, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm this great coach, not at all, but I think with what I've went through in life, I can help young people. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not one of these bluffers on Facebook putting up stories of myself saying, oh, I can do this for you, and we all see some of these people. That's not me. I've been through what I've been through, and I believe now with the football, I believe I can talk to young players. I think I'm confident enough. I think I'm good enough with relationships. I'm a nice enough fella. I can put my arm in my own player and I can talk to them and say, right, I think we need to do this. We can do this here. And now with the scouting, I can give someone an opportunity. And that's, for me, they be in this position now if you'd have given me this year 22 years ago, I'd be like, wow, yeah, let's do it. So it's nice to get that appetite back.
It is actually mad. We've had some people in here, some remarkable people, but your outlook on life is unbelievable. Where I don't think nobody would ever blame you if you got angry and just got filled with rage and things, but everything you've talked about is everything you can do, not everything you couldn't.
Yeah.
And you just fixated, and that competitive side, that determination, that raw grit that you say that brought through, but you can just see how it just drives you on to the next thing, the hunger. And as each of the projects, as life came on, and as hunting Brenda down, and on to acting, and on to scouting, and on to coaching, you could just see the fire building again. The basketball, it was always on to what you could do, and that turning that to a positive. And I've sat here and I worried before you come on, and I was like, "Geez, this is horrible." We read it when we read it. It's horrible. You had such a glistening career in front of you, but it's been very uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
I've been smiling as we were going through this,
Yeah.
and I was worried when you come on, and it's incredible. You're an incredible person. You're incredible mental. And I know I know you will have your dark days. And there will be people that's in the same position, and they're going to have their dark days, and there's nobody to blame that. I think I'd be so full of rage and hurt and anger, I would just get angry at the world. That it would poison me. I just would. It would. But it's been unbelievable to hear that, and the amount you've got to give back. I think you underestimate what you'll be giving people, and people that's going through and may have had a major accident or something's happened or and they're there. I'd love them to listen to you. I'd love them to listen to that and just see that. I still, when you talk about the option of getting in the car or getting out the car, and you get in the car, I can't. It's mind blowing, but I get it. It sounds weird to say I get it, but it's mind blowing that actual. It's so big, but you've just listed all the beautiful things in your life, your daughter Faith, your wife, and everything you have going on now. It's unreal, and I hope people are in an okay place to listen to that and hear this, because just when you were talking about being young, it was the dream. Like everything was the dream. It was
Yeah.
like you hear of ones trying to get there. You were there. You were in the mix of it. Like so, it's unreal, and it's uplifted me. I've actually, and it sounds weird to say that, but just that outlook. I think if more people could have that outlook in life that hasn't had anything nowhere near the adversity you've had, I think they would be better off. But that unreal. I think unreal.
You were telling the whole story, and I just want to ask a few questions about your story, though. So, see the car accident that day. Were you the only one in the car that wasn't wearing a seatbelt?
No.
So there's other ones.
None of us.
None of you were wearing
None of us were
seatbelts,
wearing
right?
seatbelts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was like, "Oh, you were the only one
Yeah.
that wasn't wearing the seatbelt."
You would
that
think
day.
that because I
Yeah.
was the injured one
Mhm.
and no one else, but yeah, none of us were wearing seatbelts.
And like, and it was that was something that come into my mind, and you think that, and there's so many, like life. Everyone's like your what if, but there were so many what ifs. See, we spoke so much about the physical recovery there, and your resilience during that. But obviously, you had your dark times. But was there a point there, Peter? Like you were always adamant you were going to do something. Then go on. Was there a point where you just didn't want to, or you know, was it? It would have been so hard then that first year coming home, all the adjustments like that.
Yeah.
Like you can understand how, and 100%, you'd have to be depressed.
Yeah.
There's no. How do you ration it?
Even that first year, I don't think I even hit on this as well. But my body was still healing. I mean, I can remember I couldn't even watch. I couldn't get through a football game without going to the toilet. My body was just an absolute bits. I was constantly run the toilet. When we were going on nights out, I'd be going out with a boy and I'd have to just sip drinks because I was constantly I'd have to go. My body was just still an absolute bitch. You know, I mentioned I broke near enough everything, and I thought, fuck, this can't be my life. It got to the point I actually had to go to England and get surgery. I actually got surgery on my bladder. They made my bladder 3 times bigger. So at least now I'm okay now. So I can go out, I can live my life, thank God. But that was one big thing that was weighing me down, was because I couldn't I'd be ringing the boys like, right, we'll pick you up in 10 minutes. I'm thinking, right, if I go to the toilet now quick, that'll give me an hour or two out. Because even back then, 20 years ago, trying to get a fucking disabled toilet somewhere and trying to go, and even public toilet grossed me out. I was thinking, right, if I go there and get back home in time, it was shit. But I reached out, and I forget who it was, but someone reached a specialist, got me booked into a hospital in England, and I went over there and I got a bit of surgery, and that was a massive relief then. That was a massive relief. But the first year, you asked about the dark days and stuff. Of course, like I mentioned, every night I fucking cried myself to sleep. Like it was horrible. It was not known. I didn't know what was going to happen. And honestly, and if I'm doing this, I'll always be honest. Being back home was the last place I wanted to be. When I signed for Leeds, I was convinced I'm in England. Or not even England, I was convinced that's me. I'm going to be a footballer. And I do not want to come back home. And that was just it's no disrespect. Home made me. Home is the man I am. That's of course. But I just thought, right, now I've got this opportunity. Now I'll go and now I'll get it. And, they lose it in 2 years and be back home. When I promised myself it wouldn't happen, it was tough. And it was seeing people would stop me in the street and it was the puppy dog eyes all the time. I was like, I'm okay. And then you'd get the odd, for a long time, I don't get so much now. And I don't know why, it's strange. But for a long time, people would stop me, random people in the street, and they'd be like, oh, you'll walk again. Do you always get these people? Like, I'm like, oh, can I talk to you? You'll be okay. You're going to. And it's like, and then I was always too nice. Oh, okay, thank you. We're looking back. I wish I had turned around. Sometimes it says, fuck off. Yeah. Don't be at that there. Imagine stopping a young boy in a wheelchair, or you're going to walk. Come on. Do you know what I mean? Only I was mean. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll humour you. Okay, thank you. But imagine, a young kid who wouldn't have had my confidence. You know what I mean? And someone telling him that, it's just. But I got that a lot. I used to get it a lot. It's like, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean?
I don't understand that.
Imagine a random person stopping you. Oh, by the way, you're going to.
If you don't know anything about something, don't say fucking anything.
Yeah. Well, even we were at a family wedding, and It was over in Gallia, and it was all monks and stuff, and they were at the service, and I came in, I sneaked out the back of the chapel, and there was a monk in front of me, and he turned around, he sort of put his hand on my leg, and I was like, oh no, come on. And it was the same sort of thing, if you believe. I was like, oh, okay, you're a monk, I have to be nice to you. I can't tell you, fuck off. So, okay, yeah, so you're being nice. I'm like, fucking hell, man, come on, leave me alone. So the brother-in-law was sat beside me, just get out of here quick.
You should have put your hand in his back and said, if you believe you can fly, there's 2 stories up there.
I'll walk out here if you fly. Mom will go together.
But you know what, and then, you know, all you were telling us about the first year, and then the drugs and taking away that hope, and you don't want people coming up and saying them sorts of things. If I always say I'm the most awkward bollocks there ever is, so what I do now, because I used to open my mouth to swap feet, don't say anything. How you doing?
How are you?
How's it going?
Lovely day.
Aye, you know, like don't say anything. Don't be awkward. And I'm sure people say like stupid things or things that they're not meaning, and then they get paranoid after they leave you. Like they've said something and they're like, "Oh, Jesus."
Do you know what happens to me a lot? And I always laugh. I could go to the gym. I could go to the gym and I'll be up on a fucking pull-up bar doing pull-ups and on the floor doing my press-ups and climbing up walls, whatever. And then I'll leave the gym and I'll go to the shop. And as I'm going into the shop, a 7-year-old woman will drop her bags and open the door for me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, thank you. It's fucking hell.
It's just what I
Half
needed
an hour
today.
ago, I was hanging off a fucking. You know what I mean? Like,
You know, that sums up you and this podcast. It was all about what you can do, and where a lot of people would have been about focusing on what was lost and robbed from them, and yours was the life that it gave you.
yeah.
And it's been unreal. And you know,
But even that life, if you write down, yeah, footballer, professional footballer, wheelchair basketball,
international basketballer,
actor,
fucking heck.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scout.
And
like-
we're only getting going.
Exactly. I'm a young man. I'm 40 next year, and again with me, I'm back involved in football now. I'll do my badges and I'll do my scouting stuff, and I'm thinking, right, what can I?
I feel like we need to say stuff to plant the seed so he goes and tries it. You know, like somebody planted the seed in acting. What should we plant a wee seed here?
Aye,
Just
bring me back in
plant
2 years'
the
time to
seed,
say,
no.
right, did you do it?
I did hear that they're after stunt doubles. don't even take that. Don't even fucking. He could be on it. No,
But see on that day you're saying about a stunt double. Sorry, just quickly. I remember. What do you call the comedian? The Scottish comedian with the big ginger. He's
Boyle.
Boyle. He was doing a
Frankie
TV
Boyle.
show. Frankie Boyle. He was doing a TV show for Channel 4, and I got sent the script, and it was this stuntman. This stuntman's in a wheelchair. You should have fucking seen the script. They were lighting him on fire and fucking him out of building. And they thought this was hilarious, and I was all right. And they offered me the job, and I swear I'll say it now because I'm not acting anymore. They offered me the job, and I was like, right, yeah, I'll do it. And I told them my flights now were booked. I was supposed to say go film on Tuesday. I was supposed to get on a flight on the Monday to go and film this. And as I was reading the script, I remember being in the house, and I says to the missus, I can't fucking do this. This is offensive to people in chairs. I am not letting some cunt light me on fire and push me out fucking a 10-story building for humour on TV. I was like, I can't do it. And I remember sitting in the house and I got a phone call. Oh, are you in your hotel? I'm like, oh, I missed my flight. I'm not feeling well. I lied to the agent. I was like, I should have just fucking told him, but I thought, nah, that's a piss take. Obviously, Frankie Boyle is, he goes over the edge.
Oh, he does.
He'll go over the edge. And don't get me wrong, it was a paid job, and God knows it, but it was just, it wasn't acting for me. It was offensive. I thought, nah, I'm not going to, because no,
You're selling your soul.
I need it's for myself. I was like, no, it's exactly. I'm not selling my soul to the devil. No, it's not worth it. And you're not paying me enough to do that there shit. I'm not doing it.
I would come back to me when they fight. No, but you're right, and that's the thing. You know, there's like my boy always used to say to me, you know what I want, and you grow up in a house estate, you have a natural chip on your shoulder, that grit that you think. And he's like, never take shit from anybody.
Yeah.
Unless they're paying you enough. And if they're paying you enough, take 2 loads of it. And it's true.
Yeah, it works.
But I really enjoyed speaking to you. And Peter, you're the sort of guy that we'll bring you back next year and we'll have a whole new pod. And I'm sure your wife is like, oh fuck, he's way off doing. You know, you're a compulsive. You're a guy, one of those guys, and you get it in your head. I'm sure you go home annoyed. We have Jess in. Jess lives and breathes her football.
Aye.
it takes over you.
Aye.
You're passionate. You're
Yeah.
in. So I have no doubt when you take
she'll
up new
she'll
projects,
ring me in the
you're
ring me
like,
in the bus, and she'll be like, "Well," I'm like, "I fucking lost you." "Oh, Peter, don't be coming home in a mood." "Oh, Peter, please don't." "Right, Peter, I'm away to bed. Peter, I'm away to bed. I'll see you in the morning. You're going to be on one the night, and I am." But you need that though, because I think I remember I forget where it was, but I was doing my talks in England, and I was chatting. There was a few of us. We were traveling around the whole of England, and there was a few of us, and there was a guy who used to be the main academy man at Stoke. And we were talking about, it was that word, you mentioned it, that's my favourite word after faith, resilience. That's one of my favourite words, resilience, and that's something, I've been asked this before, how can you teach resilience? Is resilience something that can be, is it teachable? Is it something you're born with? Is it something you just have to, is it something you get to overcome adversity? How do you be resilient? And it's, I don't know, I can't answer that, but for me, I think it's something that was in me. It was in me, but I was speaking to this coach, and he was saying to me, these were his exact words, and it made total sense. He says to me, when he was the academy man at Stoke City, he would rather have took 10 Irish lads out of council estates than 10 English boys who were, middle class, who were coming in, they were comfortable. He would rather have had the Irish boys in the council estates who had that fucking grit. And I think that's something that we're losing in the next generation coming up. That grit.
They're soft.
Sport. And you mentioned the medals. Hand them, participation. Here's a medal, well done. Don't reward for that. It's there's now youth games where they don't keep the score. They don't keep exactly. And it's like, that's not football. Come on, let them learn. That's how you build resilience. By fucking losing. By losing football matches. By getting pissed off. By going home and saying, right, they're not going to fucking beat me next week. That's how you build character. And they're taking that away from kids today because it's, oh, you lost, here's a medal. Don't worry about it, here's ice cream. Let them worry, let them be annoyed, let them be angry, because I'm the reason a wee girl myself, and she's spoilt rotten, and my wife says, Peter, she's too spoilt. Of course she is, and it's different wee girls. If it had been a wee boy, then it would have been like a whole different story, of course, but with wee girls, she's my daddy's princess, so I'm very, very soft with her. But there will come a stage where, she's doing sports day and stuff, and she sees her dad,
the head guest on the side.
Yeah, get up! Fuck up, Peter! But honestly, when she is competing, you're doing it. They won. But my wife was an All-Ireland dancing champion as well, so she's the competitiveness in her too. Yeah. So, but Faith
Well,
is just, she just wants everything handed. No, at the moment she doesn't. She's like, she wants to play a wee bit of football and stuff, but her mum wants to hear dancing. She wants to hear dancing, so it's whatever she wants to do. But she needs to. Like, if she's going to compete, then she'll be told that 100% you need you're competing. If you're competing, they won. There's none of this here fucking well done, coming last bullshit. Because that's how you build character.
Yeah.
That reminds me Sean's sports day speech.
Oh, 100%. I was telling my wee girl, I said the wee girl, she was up for sports day this year, and I was teaching her the traits of, a good race. So if somebody falls... if somebody falls, what do you do? So her mum was listening in the background. And I says, Pat, as soon as that whistle goes, what do? You run. And if somebody falls, what do? You run by them. You win, and then you come back to see if they're okay. Her mum was going back. You can't teach her. If somebody falls,
100%.
I was like, no. You go and you win it first, and then come back and go, are you all right?
That's it. That's it. But that's
builds character.
But that's sort of fire. It's dying. People don't.
But boys, we're competitive people, and we're sitting around a table and we're validating each other, right? But you have to be honest. Competitiveness is one of the worst. It's the best thing, and it's drove you on through your life. But when you do it to people that are non-competitive, and when you beat it doesn't paint you in a good light, does it? Like,
yeah.
When you're teaching your daughter
I stand
to
by what I
jump
said.
over the person that's eating grit, like, and it doesn't, and you're champion, and everyone else is like completely disgusted.
You know something? Because even we went into the girls this year, and it was our first time in female football, so we went down too soft. And I've told the girls this, so if you're listening, yes, we're far too soft on these. But we went in, and it was a new environment for us, so we brought in a couple of girls came in, and you can see a couple, and they have a wee bit of fire in them and all the rest. But next season, now that they've stayed in the league, and now that they know how to win a few games, next season, our pre-season, it has to go up gears now. It has to go up gears now, and we have to kick on, because once again, fucking Derry City. We're Derry City, and the town, see, there's a real buzz about the town now with football, with the men's team, how well the men's doing stuff. And now it's about us.
And women's football
is massive, 100%. But now we have to get, we've got a good committee there, we've got good people behind us. Now we have to say, right, we done what we set out to do start our season. Now let's fucking kick on. You've got your Linfields and stuff up the road. Now let's catch them, and then we kick on again. Because that's what has to be. There has to be. I'm not one of these boys that's going to be, oh, we're just happy sitting. Come in and do the same. Come in and do the same. Nah. There has to be, let's get better, let's get better, let's get better, and kick on. And that has to be the vision from everyone. That's our vision as coaches. It needs to be the vision from the players, everyone. And if it's not, then go and have a bit of crack on a Saturday with someone else. You need to realise now this is Premier League football.
Hey.
It's Premier League football. You're in the big girls now. You're in the big girls now. So now you're coming in, and let's fucking kick on now, 100%. Because that's. If not, what's the point?
Why? What are you doing?
What's the point? Come in now. Oh, it's the bare minimum. Every game, every session, it's 100%. And that's the one thing. Thank God, I have no regrets in my football career, because every training session, I was 100%. I never faked an injury. I never faked an illness. Every fucking session, I got stuck in. There have been fights in the training pitch for me tackling my teammate, and I'm going, fucking hell, match, fuck off. You know what I mean? It's that fire in the belly. We played Newcastle away under 17s, and we got hammered 4-0. We were getting hammered 4-0, and I'm playing right back, and I'm trying to get the boys going, fucking come on, get going. And the wee left winger gets the ball, and he goes to go past me, and I fucking nailed him. I absolutely nailed him. Hand up, sorry ref, put him clean over the sideline, take a yellow card, get back in. And after the match, I'm thinking, I'm going to get a ball in here. Warren Joyce sets us all down, and he's like, you fucking give up, points to me. He's the only one that never fucking gave up. He's the only one that never gave up. The next week, I was away with the 19s. We lost 4-0. I was part of that problem. I was the right back. I was the defender. We lost 4-0. I was away with the 19s. Why? Because of my attitude. And this is it. It doesn't matter how good you are at football, how good you think you are, anything in life. If you don't have that fire in your belly, if you don't have that want, that drive, that desire, then what's the point? That drive, that fire in the belly will get you so much further than talent.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you, because I have seen this through rugby. I'd seen great, very, very skillful players, and you get to about 14, under 14 with the skill. So there wouldn't have been they'd have been lazy. There was actually one boy springs to mind. He was a great player, but he was lazy enough, and he didn't want to work. And there was one our boy, and he wasn't that great, but the bollocks showed up every time. Mm-hmm. He went on to have a quite decent professional career, and the other boy didn't go anywhere. And I seen Jimmy Carr spoke about this one time. It was very clear, and it was about if you have talent, but you don't want to work, it's just an opportunity wasted. Yeah, hard work outworks talent nearly every time, and like professional athletes, if it's only a 0.5% different than half the our boys that never made it, was just that mentality that you had, was just to outwork everyone. I know they're saying that you're nasty, but outwork everybody behind you.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. There's a quote from Usain Bolt. He trains flat out for 4 years. Flat out, every day for 4 years. They run 9 seconds. You know what I mean? Every day for 4 years to run 9 seconds. And that's, could you imagine how grueling that would be? Just for that one boom 9 second run. 4 years of your life for that 1 9 second run. And he does it. That's elite mentality, that. And that's that thing, because I'm training now at the minute with Kevin McCready, who's the S&C coach at Derry City. I mean, him chat away, and he was my age growing up, so me and him, again, I can't bullshit him because he played against me, and we chat away and we reminisce. And growing up in there, like that D&D league, we grew up, and there was myself, McCready, Barry Malloy went to Derby, Kevin Deary, the street manager, obviously Higgins was in it, West. There was some of the players in that D&D league. It was so competitive, and they hated us because we were Lumavati. They hated the fucking cultures coming down and beating them. They fucking hated us. But that competitiveness was amazing, and it's gone. It's gone now, and I know I can say it now because I've been watching youth football for last year, and I'm looking at players now, and I'm seeing some talented players, but they don't have that. They don't have that there oomph. And then it's just, can you get someone with that drive and the talent? And then I've seen some talented lads, and I'm thinking, right, he's fucking technically wow, but he doesn't have that fire in the belly. Could he go over and get the fire in the belly, or is it easier to have the fire in the belly and then getting the talent over there? Do you know what I mean? It's a hard one, but like I said, I was over a couple weeks ago, and that's what Craig Bellamy had said to me. He says, right, they need to be able to run and fucking run hard, and they need that there. And I'm like, happy days, because that's me. That's what I was. And now it's like, right, okay, I'll send over a couple of boys, and if they're not that there, then say, Mitch, you tried, good luck. I would rather that. Let me succeed or let me fail. But I don't want to just linger here and just pick up a wage and I watched this match and I watched this match. Here's my expenses. Here's my wages. I don't want that. I'm doing it for a reason. Let's get this kid over. Let's give him a chance.
But you know the way you said there it was actually an old boy said this to me. It was watching a match, and he says, some years ago, young clubs wanted to be footballers, and he says at least they admired skill. He says now they want to be influencers. They admire fucking somebody doing nothing.
Oh, don't start me on influencers, please.
But he was. But at least he was saying something. He was like they admired somebody with skill.
Yeah.
Now they admire somebody doing fucking nothing.
Yeah, that's it. When you were growing up, you were looking like, oh, I'd love to be a footballer. I would love to be whatever it wanted to be. It was something. It was something with skill, something you had to work at to be. Where now, yeah, like, oh, Love Island's on. Let's apply for it. You know what I mean? Oh, I'll apply for that. There, I'll go on a holiday for 6 weeks, and I'll come out and I'll get paid all this money, and just want an easy life. Everyone wants an easy life. There's just no.
But the one thing I meant to say to you, and I find it unreal that at that age they were offering contracts and there was payments and things. Would it have been decent enough money if you were decent enough younger and you're getting paid? Not that I'm asking much,
Yeah.
but it was decent money.
Oh, aye.
Was it?
Aye. And like we live in the academy, so I mean our breakfast, lunch, dinner, you didn't need your wages. Everything, your food, everything was paid for. You trained there, so it was decent money. Like Leeds back then, we were a top tier academy. We'd England internationals. Like some of my teammates, like we signed 2 boys from Leeds, signed 2 lads from Dublin, and apparently it was 2 of the biggest contracts ever to come out of Dublin. I think their contracts were worth, like, this is back 20 years ago. Apparently their contracts were worth like nearly $500,000.
Shit.
Apparently so. And this is 2000.
Aye.
Brian Kidd went into Leeds. Brian Kidd went into Leeds from United, and he took over the academy for a while, and he brought in a couple of young lads, and then he went up the first team. But apparently, yeah, a couple of boys come over, and this is the thing of some clubs. I was at Man City a couple of years ago, and I was doing my talk, and after I'd done it, one of their analysts came down and spoke to me, and he says they see those 4 lads in the front row, they'll all get released this year, but apparently they're in 5 figures a week, 18 years of age. They were French, they were African, they weren't English.
There's
like
mental money in that.
But
sport.
you think about that, you're 18 years of age, you have say a 4-year contract at a big club, and you're getting released at 18, you're getting paid off £1 million. Now you're 18 years of age, you don't have a football club, and you've got £1 million in the bank. Where is how many of these kids are going to have that? Are they going to keep that passion for a sport? Or are they going to think, I've made it now, I have £1 million at 18, boom, away I go? Do you know what I mean? Do they get up in the morning with the same hunger to be a footballer, or do they think, I'm loaded, I don't need to do it anymore at 18? It's a fine line now, because I'm a Liverpool fan, and it's been well documented. I think Liverpool have a cap, so they don't give their players aren't allowed to earn over X amount of money at a certain age, which is great, I think. Because the problem is now, and you can see Chelsea and Man City, these clubs have stupid money, and they're bringing in players from all over the world, and they can give it wages. But then the problem with that is other clubs then have to compete with that
to get on the.
And then all these talented young lads are like, oh my god, they're getting flew around the world. Oh, we can give you this, we can give you that. Come here, and then they get all this money and they lose the passion, they lose the hunger. It's just. But I understand why the clubs have to give it them, because if one club doesn't give it to them, the other club will. So they want them in. They're going to put out the red carpet and give them whatever they can give them. But you're doing them more damage.
But so you could potentially get a young lad from here. Obviously, if he has it, you won't sell your credibility out down the stream, send someone over shite. Like, do you be extra vigilant when the first few you send over? Like, are you either they're good enough or they're not good enough, or you're like, oh shit, they need to be super good before I'm sending them over.
That's where I'm at the minute. That's where I'm at the minute, because I'm like, right, I'm getting to send over a couple now soon, and I'm like, right, I need to make sure I need to blow their socks off over there.
Yeah.
Because if they're thinking, right, Mitch is over in Ireland, scouting north and south. So these are the boys he's recommending. If they go over there, like, fucking hell, Jesus, is this who he thinks good enough for us? I'm gone. Yeah. But that's what I need. So I'm thinking, right, if I need to get this right. I need to get, because me being me, I'm thinking, right, I'm here now. Where can I go next? How can I build this up? Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, I need to. This is my chance now. I'm in the game. I don't have 1 foot in the door. I have 2 feet well in the door now with Derry City and with And with the scouting, so now I'm like, right, now I need to make sure I work hard and I'm going to get better myself, and I'll do my badges and I'll do the courses and stuff, of course I will. But yeah, now I'm thinking, right, I need to. But you're right, because on one hand, you've got a technical player, and then on the other hand, you've got the wee grafter. And it's like, right, which one, who's going to be best for this? And do you know what I mean? It's hard to get someone with both.
And is the talent pool here for?
I think so. There is talent here. I mean, you're seeing, even down south, see with Brexit now, Brexit has ruined it a bit because the Southern lads can't get to England.
Oh,
the Southern lads can't get to England till they're 18. See, there's Southern Irish lads going to Italy. There's lads playing for Udinese and stuff, AC Milan, because they can't get to England. They're going to Germany. So, because Brexit, because the English clubs can't get European lads and under 18s, so they're now all looking over here. I went to Northern Ireland under 16 game a few weeks ago, and I'm watching the match, and there's an Arsenal Man United scout sitting. And I'm like, fuck. Do you know, they're watching the same game as me. So if I like him, I'm trying to get him to Burnley. These two boys are watching the same game. What chance do I have if they want them as well? It's going to be a hell of a lot harder for me. But I'm a football man. I love going out. I love watching the game. And like I says, yeah, I'm at it a year now, and I was over talking to him. So I'll get a few boys over now, and then we'll see what happens.
I'd be lining them up saying, look, boys, when you get the contract, I ain't going to need a kickback because I said
What's my commission fee?
Look, it's 20% cut. Good luck.
Yeah, where's my Brucey bonus?
But no, look, brilliant. And I'm excited for the things coming ahead for you. But I just wanted to start off saying, Peter, remarkable guy. And I thank you for coming down. I'm going to stop getting preconceived ideas. I was like, this could be a heavy one, and this is a Monday, we're starting off the week, you know. But I actually feel more uplifted with the possibilities and the beautiful faith and outcome in your life and the things that's coming, because I have no doubt, I actually genuinely have no doubt that you're going to be scouting for the top teams and you become one of the best scouts and you'll be coaching the thing, because you're a dog with a bone and you ain't going to let that up to your fucking doing with the best. So I wish you the very best, and I want to thank you for coming on. I've really, really, really enjoyed it, and I hope that people can take something from this, and it can be a ray of light for people that's in a very dark space at the minute.
Yeah.
Not for me to bring that back down again, but I'm actually sitting here and I'm going to bring it back to that car crash. It's brought me back to a car crash that I was in. So I must have been third year or so, and we jumped into the back of the car, me and two other lads, and it was a wee Vauxhall Nova.
Yeah.
And we went out of the housing estate, and now it's a mile straight until this left hand bend, and the same thing. Guy was just going too hard. Knew he was going too hard, but before we had left, I don't know what it was about that time. I was crazy about wearing a seatbelt. Everybody had to wear a seatbelt. Two lads jumped in beside me, put the seatbelt on. I says, lads, seatbelts. So there were two brothers. Guy on the far side of me, he put his on okay, and he says, no, sure, all right, we're only going out the road for a spin. And I was like, put your seatbelt on, would you? You know, just stick your seatbelt on. No, I'll be all right. I actually grabbed the seatbelt. Now, he was sitting in the middle, so it was only the wee strap across his waist. Grabbed the seatbelt and put it around him. I didn't know what was going to unfold. Fuck. So we had, and literally it's a mile straight to this wee corner. You just pull out of the state. It's about a mile, left-hand bend, just coming far too fast. And there's a lane straight ahead, and we knew we weren't getting stopped. Yeah. And just as the wee lane, the car went airborne, hit a tree on the side. Luckily enough, none of us was injured at all. But it was just, I was only young. Didn't tell my parents I was even in the car. Aye. They probably haven't ever heard this story. I haven't told them, not unless there was behind backs. But I mind somebody pushing open the door of the passenger side because I was sitting on the driver's side, and us all climbing out, and it was just pure shock. I can remember running that mile, not stopping, didn't even look behind me, because I was like, shouldn't have been in the car, blah 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 blah. But it was probably only a few days afterwards in school, and I was still in shock. Yeah. Even the following day in school, and I just knew that I was just walking around in a daze. Couldn't talk to anybody about it because you shouldn't have been in the car. But that outcome could have been totally different if that guy in the middle, I hadn't grabbed him, put the seatbelt around him. It's just crazy. It's crazy how something like that there could change your life. Yeah. And yours has been.
Yeah. We I mentioned Kirby, our basketball coach, he's a fireman. And he always says to me, people don't realise when they get behind the wheel of a car, he says, some of the fucking things I've seen, he says, people don't realise you're operating heavy machinery. You're fucking operating heavy machinery, and it's so like we would dick around, boys being boys, and like if I was a dickhead, then we'd be like, fuck up you, sure, it was my fucking mates cut you out of the car, you wanker, you. If it wasn't for my mates, you'd be still there, you know what I mean, have a bit of crack. But he says some of the stuff he's seen, if people only fucking knew.
I'm in the fire service.
Well, there you go.
So
Jason Kennedy, do you know?
And no, I'm not sure. But they're 100%. I've been at calls and there hasn't been seatbelts worn.
Yeah.
And it's been a fatality. And in my head, I'm like, and it wasn't even like it was a big impact. It wasn't. It was like a 30-mile-an-hour road.
Jesus.
And it's been a fatality, and you're like, it potentially could have been prevented just by a seatbelt. And I know I'm not trying to paint the picture as in you weren't wearing seatbelts. I'm just trying to put it across that please wear the seatbelts.
100%.
You know, especially the weather we're getting at the minute.
100%.
You know,
because even my daughter now is at that age. My daughter's friends are starting to ask what happened and stuff. And I've been honest. I remember the first time I told Faith, and I told her without her mammy there, and she went and said to her mammy, and Brenda was a wee bit, did you tell her? And it was like, I didn't want to lie to her, but it was the way I told her it was. This is why you wear a seatbelt. And now we friends are saying, I'm like, I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and that's what happened. This is why you wear a seatbelt. But I think that's a good message, young ones now, because like, well, look what happened to her daddy. So get your fucking seatbelt on. Do you know what I mean? And like my Faith, she'll always pull on about. And even now, God love her, she'll say sometimes, like another time if a wee friend say a new friend comes over, what happened to you? What happened to your legs? Blah blah blah. My daddy was a silly Billy. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. The pure dairy tongue war too. Pure dairy tongue. Silly Billy.
Yeah. Well, you're right, and that is one thing. If we can send the message from that, sometimes like look, listen, we don't go with the what ifs and what ifs. We're where we are, but go on, you know, for anyone out there to prevent things, and we don't know what would happen, but Sean's a very good point. Like if you've went to things, you just don't want to be going back there where you don't need to. You don't want to have that happen again where it could be preventable. So it is probably a good message for us to be putting out there now. But no, thanks. I actually have.
I've really enjoyed it, and like it's the longest that you've ever sat without talking.
True.
Not me. I'm happy enough to sit and listen to stories, but it's been such an inspirational story. Honestly, like just your whole mentality around it, as in right, I'll try this and I'll try that, and it's always worked in your favor.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well, because it's there's been, I remember with the acting. Do you remember the TV show Misfits?
Yeah,
Misfits in Channel 4.
Yeah.
I remember I had the opportunity to go on Misfits and audition for it, and I fucking loved that show. I thought, this would be amazing, and I didn't get the job. And I was absolutely gutted, because it's not always, because when I'm telling you, it's not always, oh my God, you're in Coronation. People see what you done, but they don't see what you didn't, what you got knocked back for. So there's been, of course, there's been knocked. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I got every job. I didn't. But Misfits was the one I wanted. I didn't get it, but I didn't get that job. And then literally a few weeks later, I got the Coronation Street gig. So it was one of those ones, well, if I had have got it, I wouldn't have maybe got Coronation Street. So it's like, it worked out. It did work out, but there's, it's that thing as well, because a lot of people now, I think they try something, and if they don't succeed, I'll try something else. But keep fucking going, keep knocking on doors. It's especially for young ones now, like you're starting off and you sport and stuff. What would you give to go back now to be 7, 8, 9 and know what you know now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's that thing, isn't it? And just, you know, knowing that, if I stick at this, I could do this, I could do that. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I stuck at football. And I got that opportunity. And now I believe, now with everything I've been through and stuff, and I'm at a good age now, I think I can pass on a bit of wisdom and help the next generation, you know, and the coaching and the football and stuff. And that's something I'm passionate about now, and that's something I want to get stuck into.
Brilliant.
Well, Peter, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's been
I've enjoyed
great.
it.
It's been good.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, lads.
Cheers,
Thank you very much.